Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Badger Call. My guest today, joining us live from the castle, is Ben Mills, aka Pitch. How are you, Pitch? I know we just had this chat off screen, but we'll do it again.
I was live straight off when I came on, when I started talking to you. Yeah, I'm all right, Mills. I'm a bit disappointed. I didn't realise I was the 9th person. How have you found 8 people to speak to, prior to me? I don't know how I've slipped so far down the order. That's pretty much in my batting position these days. I know at 9, but although probably 10 if he gets his way. But no, I'm good, mate. Life's all right down here. Like I was saying to you earlier, it's quite a nice place to be doing the kind of social distance and isolation, because I've got pretty much free run of the entire school grounds, which are massive. So it could be a lot worse, mate. It's a bit tedious, but lucky, I think got to be realistic, lucky compared to a lot of the population. So all is good here, mate.
Well, we won't start on your cricket career. We'll start on your school life. Do you teach cricket?
A little bit, yeah. Worryingly, I suppose most people who see me play would be like, why on earth are a future generation learning from me? So my main job is hockey coaching, really. So I do 2. So I've got a bit of a combined role there where I teach some history, some politics, and some sport. So for 2 terms, so autumn term and Easter term, I teach hockey is the sport I do. So that's kind of every afternoon and some morning lessons plus after school sessions. And Saturday we have fixtures too, so that keeps me pretty busy. And then in the summer term, that moves over to cricket. So yeah, I'm let loose on the under 13 A team every summer here, trying to teach them about the merits of using the bottom hand and playing to leg. But then the other cricket coaches who actually know what they're doing at times get involved and
as long as you hit it, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I think too. So I reckon you just got to hack it, but apparently you're meant to play for the upside and value your wicket and that kind of thing. It's good fun. We're lucky to a director of sport here played, never quite made first class, but played a lot of Northants second, so he knows what he's doing. A couple of the B teachers are very adept cricketers too. Got Alex Tudor as our cricket pro. Who obviously has played a little bit, although as I keep reminding him, he's never played. I've got pretty much. It's always good fun. We go down to the prep school too, so the little 6 and 7 year olds. I'll be like, sir, Mr. Tudor's better than you, isn't he? I'm like, well, you say that. But has Mr. Tudor ever hit a 6 at Belper Meadows, for example? And they'll be like, what? I've hit more 6s at Belper than Mr. Tudor has. I'm like, oh, so does that mean you're better than him? Well, leave it to you to decide, lads. Leave it to you to decide, Obviously, no, but he's pretty cool to learn off, and he's a very well-connected bloke too. So we've had a lot of a string of cricket celebrities into school in recent years too, which has been pretty cool. So yeah, I teach a bit of cricket, but more, to be honest, in a cricket lesson, with people like that around, it'd be very silly for me to stand there trying to tell the kids what to do. I'm more ask Jude, where do you need the cones put in? Where do you want the balls? That kind of thing. Let him get on with it, and I'll just kind of...
Coach support.
Exactly, coach support. He helps me out in the hockey season. I have to teach him how to play hockey, so I do the same with him in the summer, really.
Yeah. So we'll get on to your career. When did you start? How did you... Were you a late bloomer, or... Have you always played?
Blooming Mugs. I started pretty early. Probably when I was 6-ish, maybe I started going down to Quicks at Meadows, something like that. In most of the sports I did, I started quite a bit. So I say realistically, played a bit of football as a kid, but fortunately abandoned that plan fairly young. So hockey being my main one, and cricket as well, being the 2 sports I kind of played the most and enjoyed the most and stuck with. Always thought them a little bit younger, probably than most, because my brother is a couple of years older than me and would be down there. I'd always be dragged down, to drop off to pick up the parents and basically kick off because I wasn't allowed to play, and then often get away with playing or joining in the training, maybe a little bit earlier than kind of they might have said, oh, we'll only have 7-year-olds. But fortunately, he's a talented bloke too, so I think they all thought, oh, if he's really good, maybe the brother will be too. So I'd be allowed him when I wasn't quite old enough. And kind of then there'd be disappointment on their faces as I kind of dropped another sitter and so on. So yeah, I started at Meadows when I was about 6-ish, I'd say. I must have played 3 or 4 seasons of Quicks, I can't remember exactly how many. First matches maybe age 7 or 8, and then kind of did all the juniors at Meadows. The rules used to be a little bit different back then about juniors in adults cricket, I think. So I think I started playing. We had a 4th team back then, a Saturday 4th team back then too, captained by Ridey. Everyone remembers Dave Ride back in the days, one of the main junior coaches, and a bit of a lethal bowler, particularly, and about 4-pace runner, and just had the strongest shoulders ever, absolutely physical. The fourth team cricket would fizz it down. Like in reality, probably bowling 50 miles an hour. So I think from under 12s onwards, I was playing most Saturdays as well. I was certainly kind of 50-50 maybe. Did a lot of scoring for the club back in the day too, and just kind of kept going right through to going to uni really, and then kept it up a bit up there. We had a uni cricket team, but like the university terms and the cricket season, particularly as I was at uni in Scotland, they don't really correlate very well. So we'd get being like after Easter, the weather would still be crap because it was Scotland, and we'd all be breaking up to go home by the end of May. So you haven't really got much time to get it in. So we didn't play all that much for them. From my second year to my fourth year, I joined a local club side. So you got dragged in by, this bloke Craig is a South African lad, and he played in the uni team with me. And it was only in my second year I discovered he wasn't actually a student. He'd never even been a student. He'd been brought over by like the big club in Stirling. All things being relative, the bigger club in Stirling as their overseas pro. In Scotland, you're allowed to have two, so you can have like a junior overseas and a pro overseas, if you like. So it's actually quite a lot of clubs in Scotland have some pretty cool cricketers over the years, because they'll go over to them as like a 17-year-old when no one's heard of them. So I didn't play against, obviously, because it'd be the wrong time, but like one of the clubs just up the road, Adam Gilchrist had been to for 2 years as a 17 and 18-year-old, and that kind of thing. It's often a slightly different system, I suppose, to some of the English clubs that maybe I'm going to go for a slightly more established players generally. Craig had come over the bigger club in Stirling as a 17 or 18-year-old and just never got around going back to South Africa. So we'd just been around for so long, people thought he was a student. So you'd play in the uni leagues and get away with it. So he dragged me to play for them, the smaller of the two clubs in Stirling. That he was playing for Saturdays, but I don't think because he's already talented, just because he wanted. I mean, the rest of the blokes were probably all over 45, and he was quite keen to have somebody else who might be up for going for a few beers after the game. I think more than anything to do with cricket ability. So played quite a lot up there, and then obviously since coming back down here, although I'm living an hour and a half or so away in Cambridgeshire, like I could only really play in some holidays anyway, and maybe occasionally. It kind of made sense to head back up to Meadows. Like still a lot of the lads playing are still mates of mine from growing up, or lads I played with and that kind of thing. So took it out of Meadows as well, which is obviously had been for it's weird actually. Probably only myself and Boise and Chris, I guess, left in the club. I mean, I might have forgotten somebody else who kind of were there before it all went to shit.
I know Boise said he started in about 2008.
I forgot Boise. I played under 15s with Boise, so that's 05. Boise's trying to lie about his age there, I reckon.
Yeah. But he also left for a year to go to amateurs. Chris obviously left to join a few clubs, including his winter away last year.
Well, did he ever get reinitiated? Did we ever do his initiation after we came back from that? Because if not, that could carry over. Well, if we get a season,
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
To be noted, mate. Yeah, to be noted. We'll make sure he does if he hasn't. Well, if neither of us remember it, probably didn't happen. That'll be the theory we can run with, I suppose. So
we've got three new players to initiate in the season. So
okay, so cool. Happy days. That's fine. 2 pairs that they can do on different nights. That'll be good. Provide entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. Double header weekend.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
If we play any cricket.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, they seem to be changing mind all the time. Like, last week they were saying club sports is going to be the hardest to get back on. I just read an article just before coming on with you now that was saying that maybe actually club sports, it makes sense to start with kind of amateur sport first. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Like, hope something happens, but
by the time we make a decision, they'll be too cold, and or they'll start it and it'll just rain. It'll just it'll be really nice, and then it'll rain the rest of the year.
Yeah, could well be. Boys was about back in the day too. Yeah, I mean, they were good fun times at junior days. Really, like you should win everything basically as juniors at Meadows. It was like we were always in the league with like Denby, May, Worksworth, people like that. Ambigate would be in there, Matlock, that kind of like Northern Derbyshire junior league, I guess.
Yeah.
And Denby were all like Denby. I suppose there'd be years where we'd come second to Denby, but generally that we'd always win. It was great. Like we had such a such a good side. And it's like at juniors, you don't really need very many players to be successful. So like, I remember like under 15s, when I was like at age 15, there weren't many from my side. Boys would play. Well, to be fair, boys, he wasn't always in the team. He played some weeks, not others. We had lad Tommy Matthews, who used to bowl absolute gas, but have literally no idea where it was going. It was lethal. He'd play, and then it'd be all the lads from the year below me. So like your Dave Whiteley, Tom Rowe, Joe Wells, Bryn Carnelli, Kif Maiden would play, even though he was a couple of years younger. Charlie Watson, like, for a 14-year-old lad, he had the ball on an absolute spring. Like, it went wherever he was genius, and like just blokes like that. So even though I was with the old lads, I didn't really do that. But I normally, it used to be great. I used to bat 3 in that side. Rowie and David open every week, and I'd walk in at like 90 for one or 90 for none. Or normally it'd be one of them was retired, having got to the 50s. Used to be the rule. So it was great. You could just do what you wanted. It didn't, it absolutely did not matter at that stage. Swing from the hip, which is all I really ever want to do anyway. And if every other week I hit gold for a couple before popping one up in the air, it felt like a bit of a success, and you could walk off again. So yeah, it was good fun back then. Good fun. Shame those lads, obviously for good reason, but a shame those lads. I mean, I'm sure it's the same at every club, right? Where you have your juniors for various reasons, they move on. But you think from the 5 or 6 years period, probably from 3 or 4 years older than me to 2 or 3 years younger than me, there were so many quality players who went through the system at Meadows. If we'd kept 20% of them even still involved, still playing the game down there now, like, oh my days, you'd have an unbelievable team, and obviously loads more numbers, loads more players.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you don't really realise how many ex-Belvoir players are playing still at higher level. Duffy would have got a few. Ockbrook have got a couple of them. And,
have they? I think a bit later on. Who's at Ockbrook?
Owen Patrick.
Yeah, I think I'm. Oh no, I think I remember him being a really young lad actually. That was just before like 22ish, 23, something like that maybe.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah. I think somebody else went there as well. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fair few just don't play anymore too, like, so, which is always going to happen, isn't it? In any kind of recreational thing you do, as lads grow up into, whether it be family commitments, work, whatever, they move in.
You get a lot of them get to 16, 17 and just give up playing, right? So when they realise it has to be a whole Saturday, they have to give up. They stop them going out at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an easy sport just to like keep dipped in at either, is it? Cricket, I think there's some things where, you look at a football, whatever, you can keep playing a bit five-a-side midweek, and then maybe someone's there, if you keep doing that, someone might grab you to say, come on, I've got my Sunday morning team, whatever, and you can get back into it. Whereas cricket is, unless you're maybe in cities where there's probably a little bit more of a culture of like works leagues midweek or whatever it might be, there's not really much on offer as genuinely just like proper recreational turn up and have a hack cricket is there. Like, I know there's friendly cricket on Sundays, and even that's a big commitment. There's the odd midweek thing, but not really very much as they may be outside the city. So it's not easy.
I think cricket's one of those sports as well. It's not like football where you can stop playing for a few years and then just pretty much get straight back into it. It's just getting your fitness. When you stop playing cricket for a couple of years and try and get back into it, it's very difficult. It's one of those sports where you just pick up and everyone who seems to play after a couple of years just gets an injury.
Yeah. Well, it's not. You look at, particularly if you're in a bowl, and the movements are just ridiculous. They're not normal in any way. So, like, football is like, and hockey for me is something I do. Like, they're basically sports where you run around, and then you're getting some strangers maybe making a tackle in football, so you've got to really reach the ball. Hockey, you have to lunge to kind of hit it, etc. But like most of the movement is relatively stuff you would probably do in normal life anyway.
Yeah.
Well, cricket, like, you're just going to hurt yourself, and also it's so unrewarding. So if you haven't played for a while in cricket, like let's say you go back into the football pitch, right, and not played in 10 years, and every time the bloke passes the ball, you didn't miss it. Well, or you have a really heavy touch and get tackled. You're still on the pitch, you're still running around and getting some enjoyment, and maybe eventually, you get it back. Cricket's bizarre. It's not probably up here teaching it, that like the biggest issue in the game is the mental side, really, right? Where you have to be prepared to, you've got to deal with getting out, you've got to think about your innings as a batter, you've got to accept the bowler, you're going to hit to the boundary, etc. But then, like, it's so hard for them to learn that, because you want a kid to get better at bowling, but you bowl him and he bowls loads of wides, and it's no good for his confidence, right? It's one of the hardest things I've found taking like under 13 team, who are some good players, some not so. It's obviously year on year it varies. Like, you want to give the kid a chance to nurture and get better. But
Yeah.
if they just come bowl, even if we do like the, don't re-bowl your wides, whatever, which we tend not to, but even if you do put that rule in, if they bowl 4 out of 6 at a wide, most kids are self-aware enough to realise that they've done badly, and it doesn't make them like the sport. And obviously, likewise with batting, come out and get out for next to nothing or nothing. Not once in a blue, but regularly. A, you don't get a chance to improve because you're out. B, you feel bad. Obviously, you kind of fall out of love with the sport. So it's a really tricky one to. And I guess for adults, if you stop playing and you get back into it, unless you've got to really enjoy the social elements or be a gun fielder, say, or it's really hard if you're not having success with bat or ball, which are probably the two bits most people enjoy doing the most.
Yeah.
What's the enjoyment factor of the sport if your batting's just finished before it's started, and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, it still applies when when you play cricket for a long time. You see the way some people react when they get out, and it's one of those sports what can ruin your day, and it can.
Oh.
Especially if you're an opening batsman, and all you do is bat, and you get out early on one day.
So a couple of years back, I think it depends. I'll come on to that in a second. Like a couple of years back, Jim Fowler came down to help me out. We had a staff game here on a Sunday. We played probably half a dozen Wednesday midweek fixtures in a season on the staff level mostly against like other schools, teachers, and another kind of like there's a local farmers side and that kind of thing. And then we've got this one Sunday game against another kind of like nomadic friendly team. And we always struggle a little bit to get this team out on a Sunday. Just kind of what we're saying, lads are happy to come and give up 3 hours after work on a Wednesday night. Particularly those with families or those who've got literally, we mostly work 6 days a week down here. So giving up most of your Sunday then to come in for some is quite hard. So we generally struggle to get a gym and came down, and a couple of the mates who came from one came from London, one came from Reading, that kind of thing. So Jim's driven down. Like I said, right, told lad who's captain, Jim's an opening bat, let's get him out there. He's like, absolutely, he's made a big effort to come along. Jim walked out and just got, I don't think it was the first baller, but like in the first over, out, duck. And the bloke who's captain said, I'll get you on for a ball, don't worry. And Jim's going to be like, that's just going to make it worse. Like, I've got absolutely, there's no interest in bowling. Like, so it's hard, he's got fair play. Like, he said, I came, like, got a nice tea, had a beer, got to play in the ground. Admittedly, our wicket's not great, but it's a beautiful setting. Like, there's positives, but I think you can let cricket can ruin your day very easily, can't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's ruined my life for about 20 years.
So that was like quite a big turning point for me. I was trying to think about it earlier, or yesterday, everyone I was thinking about coming on with you. And like, there's definitely been a real turning point for my cricket about when I stopped caring. Not necessarily that I've played, in my head, I probably associate caring less with maybe playing a little bit better. I mean, it's all very relative, right? But certainly about enjoyment from the game. Like, the less it's bothered me, I'd say generally the more success I've had. Like, as I say, not that I've suddenly got into gunning 1,000 runs a season, obviously, but that I've maybe done a bit better because I'm not panicked about getting out. I'm just kind of maybe a little bit more reliant on coordination and trying to hit the ball. Even bowling, like if I bowl a crap ball, I bowl a lot of crap balls. It's fine, I expect to. So then you're more focused, rather than worrying about that, you focus on the one good one that comes out and maybe buys your wicket or something. But also, I think it's really important for me, like just walking off. As a kid, I was so intense. Like, lads who played with me will know there were tears on the pitch more than one occasion. And you're like, what is the point? Looking back now, what was the point? It doesn't change anything, right? You can be angry, you're out. If you're angry about it, you're out. If you're not angry about it, you're out. So certainly it's one of the things I try and encourage anyone learning anything is just don't. Obviously, you've got to be if you really want to improve, which I probably don't, but if you really want to improve, you obviously got to be self-reflective and kind of think about why you got out. But beating yourself, there's a difference between thinking about it and trying to to a point analyse. And sometimes it's okay as well just to admit that you got out not because of a technical fault, but because you just made a poor decision in the moment, or because the bowler bowled a good ball. Like, that's fine. You're going to be beat, like in any sport, you're going to have days where you're better than the person you're playing against and days where they're better than you. But yeah, definitely beat yourself about it serves absolute, like for me, it just serves absolutely no purpose. And I've certainly got a lot more enjoyment out of the cricket since that's been the approach I've taken onto the pitch. And we definitely just have, like, don't get me wrong, there's probably been a few times of late too. You've probably seen a few of them where I've walked into bat, and I think it was you did the tweet, I think at the start of last season on was it a pre-season game we had, and you were tweeting about the match. He's like, "Oh, Pidge walks in, like an over and a half to go. It'll be 6 or out or something like that," and then just it was out. Or something was the tweet you sent. And 30 seconds later, I think I either got caught or bowled the first ball. Can't remember. And like maybe having walked in, having got and getting the first baller, even then I'm struggling a little bit to find it that funny. But outwardly, you might as well, like throwing the bat around is not going to achieve anything, is it? You might as well try and put a brave face, put a smile on it. It certainly didn't. By the time you've had your tea or had a beer after, it's certainly gone in my eyes now. There's just no point, as I say, dwelling on it any further than that. So it's, I reckon chill out a bit more is, definitely. I can't remember what the question, how do we start on this question, Mark? So,
I can't remember. I've got a big list of questions I always ask. So ask everyone, do you remember what your first cricket bat was?
Yeah. Now, there's like a few possible answers, I suppose. So my old man, we used to go on holiday every summer down to France. My mum was a teacher, so he got the whole summer off, and my old man had like saved pretty much all of his holidays. And he managed to go away for about 3 weeks. And we had this thing that we used on the beach, a Brian County bat, one of those old cloth-faced things. But I'm not really, that's a beach cricket bat. Then initially, like me and my brother shared a bat for a little while. It was Gray Nichols. It was like purple. I can't remember, I've got Optimum in my head, but I might have invented that.
Yeah, Optimum was one. Yeah.
Purple labels. I think Nasser Hussain batted with one of them, and he was probably about when he was probably the similar time to when he got his 200 versus the Aussies. So he was a bit. I'd never heard of anyone called Nasser before as a beginner, so I thought he was pretty cool. Which obviously the idea of Nasser Hussain now being cool is an interesting one. As a 7-year-old, I was pretty happy about that. And the first one that was actually my own was a Slazenger V6, and that was probably a step down in the world of bats. I reckon it was an old like pre-knocked in, had one of those like, almost like back tape face on it, where it's got the little webbing on the face, or the kind of one of that. But that was me. I don't know if I'm sure if I ever would have actually played a match with them, because at that point you're just playing quick cricket still.
Yeah.
Plastic bat all the way. But I maybe had like, even probably about 8 or 9, I probably played the odd game for the Spotted Cow on Sundays, because my old man was heavily involved with that, and they never had enough players, so you get dragged in and just the field, but then every now and again they'd lose a load of wickets and you'd have to bat, and obviously because it's friendly, like it's interesting.
That's all right.
You miss some of that, I'd imagine.
So I just had some weird thing going. That was weird.
That's all right.
My Windows 97 computer.
Huh?
It was my Windows 97 computer. It's rubber. Got that the world's oldest laptop.
Yeah. I'm all right. The school give us an iPad. Unfortunately, because again, the other bonus is nobody being on the site is I'm the only person using the Wi-Fi on the school grounds too, so my bandwidth and that's pretty good, I'd imagine, at the moment.
Yeah, I think yours has been the best so far for connection.
Yeah. Well, I've got the entire. I don't know how many. It'd normally be like about 1,000 people. They're all trying to share the Wi-Fi, and then there's just me. So it shouldn't be going off at any stage. I wouldn't have thought. Are we back recording, Morgs?
Yeah. Back.
Cool. So V6 was the first bat. It was actually my own bat, I suppose. Terror, like obviously kids' bats back then were planks, weren't they? And not like, but also they cost nothing. I think I bought that V6 for like 15 quid or 10 quid or something like that. Whereas now you see cool, and I'm sure it's the same at Meadows too. You've like spent close to upwards of £100 on bats. And you're like, even if it's good, you're going to be too tall for that. At the most, you'll get a season out of it. So it's just different back then, wasn't it? Different. That was me. That was me, my trusty V6. Not the best bit of whatever, but it felt important at the time.
Yeah, I think everyone gets that feeling that when you get your first cricket bat, you go and pick it and you think, I want that one. And you think it's the best bat in the world, and you face a hard ball with it, and it just canes your hands.
Oh God, yeah. Like
it was, my Readers Invictus was like that. Cloth face on it. 25 quid from Lily White in Nottingham. Like.
No, yeah. Lily White, that was a proper shot, that wasn't it? That's now like Sports Direct in it, or it's based, was it?
Yeah, I think got bought by him. Yeah.
Yeah, every sportsman in the world now bloody Sports Direct. Yeah, you used to love going to Lily White, so. Your V6 is pretty trash. The first time I got a properly decent, I got a hand-me-down Salix. I bought a Salix of somebody when it was maybe. I feel like there's like Ali Harrop Griffiths who used to play. He's another one who, like, if he was still playing at all, he was such a good batsman. Probably our best batsman. We went through the junior system whilst I was there. And I think he was just a year older than me. I think he just outgrew it and was like, right, think I bought it off him for like 20 quid or so. That was probably the first time I like had a bat that was actually quite good. And if you hit the ball, it went and that kind of thing. Then grew into like pretty much been using Charlie French's ever since then, which are like far better bats than a player of my ability needs. But he's so well priced and he's such a good bloke. Like, so you think, why not get him off him? Like, yeah.
They last as well, don't they?
Yeah, well, certainly if you only play 7 or 8 games a season more, so that's really well. Yeah, I'm all right for that, mate. I do. And you don't, I mean, I play what? So last season, for Meadows, I faced 2 balls. It was a joke. And the last game I played, I hadn't faced the ball. And I was in at, let's say, 8, 9, I can't remember. We were playing, I thought we were playing Homewood, but then we were talking to Chris, he talked about losing to Homewood twice last year, I think. And we definitely won this game, so it can't have been Homewood, it must have been somebody else, I can't remember. Aussie was batting on
Holmes Field as well in that league.
Field, maybe I'm thinking them. I don't know. Somebody anyway. I can't remember who they were. Nico was on. I can't remember. Maybe he probably got to 100. He got 100 most weeks last year, didn't he? It felt like. And we were going to declare at the end of that over. We'd all kind of clocked already and have an extra. I think we were declaring at 42 and having 50 of them or something because we got loads. Yeah. And second ball over, somebody got out. I can't remember who. Like probably DK. I probably came after Dan. And Nick saw me coming down the bank. He's like, right, I'm declaring. Don't want to face the ball. It's going to be a big joke like the does not participate season. But then somebody was like, no, might as well see out the over. So yeah, I faced 2.
That was me. I was scoring that game. I remember that. And like, you may as well just bat for the rest of the over. Like, there's no point declaring halfway through an over.
Yeah. It was just purely for fun, for banter that Nick was going to declare. So I wouldn't have minded. Like, I was like, fine, whatever. I'll keep. I was quite sad to lose. It was going to be a bit of a USP, I thought, having the does not participate season. But yeah, ended up having to face 2. The bloke, remember the first ball, he dropped it very short and wide. I managed to play an offside shot more, but it was so wide and crap that I kind of punted it for 4 over there. And then I think I went for an almighty heave on the next one, got a thick inside edge and managed to therefore get down the non-strikes and did stay there till we did declare 2 balls later. So, yeah, that was. I can't remember what the bloody question was. It was something about. Were we talking about last season? Were we talking about anything?
I think it's just what your favourite bat was.
We're still on favourite bat.
We'll go on to the next question of who's your favourite player growing up? Favourite cricket, like professional player?
It's a shame. Hang on, let me see if I can get this on my phone. It was Darren Gough. Until I was about 10 years old, I used to bowl. I mean, again, for a child, let's just go seam rather than speculate as to what kind of pace it was. And then I came back one summer and just couldn't do anything. Like, ran into bowl and just like felt like I was about to fall over every time. It always went to pot. So I had a couple of seasons sticking at it, trying to bowl seam up stone. It was terrible. Then eventually at the start of last year under 13s, just thinking this is wasting our time. Let's work out a way to bowl like slower cutters, tweakers, bit of like. It was like being a kind of 50-year-old cricketer, really, bowling like just little dibbly-dobbly all sorts, and that kind of just materialised into bang average off spin over the years. So yeah, no, Darren Gough, I'll hold this to the camera, how it'll work. One of my school projects was to make a clay model of somebody of a bit of an idol of yours. So I decided to make a model of Darren Gough, which I'm not sure how flattered he'd be by the likeness. But he used to have the lipstick, the sun cream lip balm stuff around his lips like that. And yes, one of his one-day kits from late 90s probably. So he was a bit of an idol of mine growing up. And then, because I thought was like him, because I used to be like a seamer who could try and hit the ball quite hard, and that was kind of Gough's approach to batting. And then obviously the reality is dawned that I now describe myself as like kind of county cricket Division 8 equivalent of Graham Swan. So off spin, we can see that. Obviously, county cricket Division 8 is about my standard versus Graham Swan, obviously being an internationalist. I too stand in the slips, although again, because it's county league Division 8, I drop it, Swanee would catch it. And I tried to walk out and smash the ball miles. And I mean, probably that's the bit that's maybe most likely. And I reckon Swan probably failed more times than he came off. But that's like my
parallel universe Swan.
Yeah, just a much shitter version and more rotund and bespectacled. But other than that, me and Swanee are basically the same person. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move on to your favourite Meadows moment. Obviously, we had a chat before, and because you missed a lot of the season, it's hard to
Yeah. So
a cup win or a league win. So you're very similar to me, and it's probably going to be individual moments or specific games. What you've enjoyed the most.
Yeah. There's been a few. So as I was saying before, because obviously when I play, it tends to be middle of the summer when I'm off work and people are short because people have gone on holiday. So it kind of generally ties in quite well for everyone. So it is more. Of recent years, certainly, it's more moments. I'm never there by the time we get promoted because we never seem to manage to do it with a few games to spare. It's always like finger biting your fingernails, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm normally not about for the cup stuff either. So looking back, definitely from pre-senior stuff, in the under-15s, we managed to win our league. This again, when I was in my last year, and I could say we had I don't think Boise played in this final, but we had Tommy Matthews played, and that was all under 14, under 13. That's Dave Whiteley, etc. And we played Denby in the used to do champion of champions matches as juniors.
Yeah.
Played at May, and I remember all season we'd only been good at chasing, so I was quite keen to win. I was captain of the side. I was quite keen to win the toss and have a bowl rather. So I thought I don't much fancy batting first. I think my best chance. We're a good bowling unit. We'll keep them down. Denby packed for the Derbyshire juniors and that. Try and keep them to a low score and have a chance. Lost a toss. Got asked to bat. I was like, this is not an ideal start to events. Then it was another week where I think in the 10th over, maybe a bit late. Might have been the first 10th, 12th. Must have been a bit later. I think maybe 13, 14 over. Walked in when we were 90 without loss. Dave had just retired. Rowie was on 40 odd. I managed to bat through an edge and scuff 30 not out off the rest of the overs with others coming in the other end and hitting much cleaner 15s and that kind of thing before getting that caught out, run out, whatever, as we just scampering. So I put 150 on the book, which back then was a hell of a lot of junior cricket. It was kind of 2020 was just getting going, and juniors used to score 100. It was a good score. 150 bowled them out we had rain delays, so it was getting dark, but we ripped through that top board. Tommy Matthews, I mentioned, we could bowl rapid but anywhere. Got maybe 3 wickets, generally bouncing lads out in the 15 cricket, just popping gloves up in the air and that kind of thing. Then I remember the umpire came to me after we got, I think they had their number 7 or 8 coming in, and they were 60 for 5 or 6 leather. And he's if he bowls another short ball, we're going off for light. I'm well, I've not much I can do. Because Tommy, he doesn't know where the hell the thing's going. So me telling him not to bowl a short ball's not going to help matters, is it? But then in the end, Tommy ran in and just ripped this bloke's off peg out. So that was a crazy win. When we probably thought we were underdogs as kids. So that was really good as a junior to come in and win that game, and I really enjoyed that. We hadn't got an under-17 team at that point. We started one in the end, but we hadn't got one. So it was I thought it was going to be my last game of junior cricket too. So what a way to finish. But then of seniors of late, the Ashover game from one of the promotion seasons, it was Nick's first year over. So what's that? 2016, something like that, because he was living with the Whiteleys at the time. And Audrey and Steve and him had sat up having dinner, and he'd had far too much red wine the night before. So they obviously tried to say he got sunstroke after batting. We ground out 170-ish maybe on a pretty sticky wicket. Us and Ashley were neck and neck at the top of the table. I think we might have been even second to their first at that point. Can't remember exactly. So we got 170-ish. Dutch hit this absolute. I just meant Dutch hitting monsters. Back Chris is a great captain, but he'd sent me out to bat before Dutch because we wanted quick runs. But with hindsight, it was a monumentally ridiculous decision. Unless I think he might have thought Dutch could also bat a bit more properly, maybe if we'd lost him a couple of quick ones. And I'd have had batting. I remember they'd had there was a wedding going on in the village hall, whatever. It's kind of far right corner as you sit in the pavilion, Ashover village hall down there, and they were setting up this champagne tower outside, backed onto the cricket ground. I remember I thought about trying to work out if it was hittable or not, and I was like, can I hit it that far? Because this is one of it. Although everyone says, Pidge likes to smash it, I can't hit it. Meadows is too big for me. Unless we're on the far side of the square, I can't hit 6. It's not a chance. So I can I hit it that far? Can I not? Anyway, I nicked off first ball, got dropped. I think it got dropped again 2 balls later, then again scuffed maybe 15 or so. And I remember asking them after the game, why did you, when I came into bat, everyone just went to the boundary, what was that about? And they're well, this comes back to room 101 to actually in a bit. Oh, well, because we didn't know who you were, so we figured you were probably shit. Touche. You have managed to work that out straight away. That's exactly what it was. We don't know who you are, you've got no stats, so you must be rubbish. So we figured you're probably just out there double slog. But yeah, I couldn't hit it as far as the champagne, it turned out, when I got caught a few balls later. Dutch could, but unfortunately just went a little bit too straight. Again, if you just got a bit more bottom hand in the go. He just smashed a cricket ball right into the champagne tower. That was a great day. Like, we bowled them out for maybe 100, like way short. The only question was at one point if they might block out for a draw, not have any chance of actually winning the game. But then it was they just like seemed to give up on it, or like forget a draw would be better. I think if they got a decentish losing draw, they'd have stayed above us in the table or only gone like 2 or 3 points behind. But they just gypped it and chucked us 10 wickets. We took 27. They'd have taken, I don't think even got to 100, so they'd have taken virtually nothing out of the game, and it just turned the season on its head, really. So that's obviously then the night where I ran around the line trying to find their 27 points. And that's anybody if they've seen Ashover's 27 points.
That wasn't just that night. That's been going on for a long.
Yeah, though, that was a night it started, and it's obviously continued since as a bit of a running joke. So that'd be the best game I've probably played in recently, because it just felt there's not been many times playing with the ones really where there's been that much jeopardy. I suppose it's not felt like so many times I've played. We've bowled a team out for 80 and knocked them off for 1. Like they're good. Like don't get me wrong, it's no objection to winning quickly, but there's probably as an actual game of cricket, it doesn't feel that much tension. I suppose like that's why I probably always prefer the bowling second days, because you always feel like even if we have a good day, you've got to work right to the last ball. Whereas at tea, if you bowled a side out for 100, you're never particularly a lot of the games I've played have been out Meadows, just the way it's fallen. We've got a good line. We're not going to fail chasing 100. Right? We're always going to.
I think the first time I met you is when we played at Buxton for the seconds. Well, I didn't play. I was scoring. I was injured. I was in the same car with you and Boise. And I was saying that day, didn't it? I think we bowled them out for about 40 or 50.
Yeah. The only fun that day was whether the rain was going to fall us or not as well. So at least the rain in there to make it more interesting. And I still remember the look on which would have been Tom Hudson's face when we bowled them out for not very many, and Boise out started opening rather than to try and get it done quickly. More inspirational. I think got out for 5 or something. But that at least again the weather brought some jeopardy that day. But so that's probably the game, the Ashover game. And there's been a few of us we've been involved in probably where we've been chasing wickets late-ish on, but we played one against Duffield at home where we didn't quite get there. We put loads on the board and we only got 9 down. There's been a handful like that, but generally we've won quite comfortably. Like the one for me of late at Meadows, which is interesting. I heard you chat with Chris the other week, and we talk about sometimes the relegation season gets, for me, a bit of a bad rep. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing for the club. We've got promoted however many years it was, 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 in a row. But then, obviously, of course, it's a shame that like availability went the way it did, and we couldn't probably give a full account of ourselves that year. But like, I don't think there's any shame in winning the league or getting promoted so many years in quick succession to then not getting, struggling the next season when you go up a league. I think that's just kind of to be expected, isn't it? Really. So there was some decent. I guess actually, because for me that season suddenly meant I had to actually step up and do a bit. It was very odd. I suddenly started 3 or 4 games in a row. I bowled a few overs and that kind of thing. And like, it was odd. So I probably was a bit more involved there. And we had a real struggle the year we went up into Div 2 as well. We had 2 weeks in a row. We had Mickle away, and then maybe Homewood or Holmesfield. I'm going to be confused again at home, where we were in all kinds of shit 2 weeks in a row. And like, I've 2 weeks had to come in at 40 for 6 kind of stuff, and batted for a little while. Again, like, it created particularly like Mickle, we then got about 160 on the board, having been Robbie Ball and batted really well. I think I joined him, he got 50 with me just kind of at the other end, and then I got on Chollas, came in and smashed it and I think he might got to 50 as well, or 40. DK maybe slugged a few late on too, and from being, I think I did walk in at 30 for 5, 30 for 6, and we got to 160, and like, shitting hell, that's some effort to get up to those. As I say, watching these lads who can hit a ball properly was an absolute pleasure. And we ended up losing by 1 wicket, or might have been 2 wickets, but we lost a really tight game. And although it was a loss, actually, for a game of cricket, it's one of the only close ones I've played in recent years. So that was really enjoyable too. On that, I know, particularly as we still went up in the end. So the fact we lost, I think if we'd not gone up off the back of not winning that day, you'd probably look back at it very differently. But we had a good game of cricket. Yes, we lost, but we still went up. It was good fun. Then, there's been some great moments, mostly involving Panther. Generally, when Panther just says something horrific. That was another good thing about that season. Panther's still playing, so we used to have a slip cord, and I generally hide behind Whiteley at first, and knowing if it would come my way, so I'd be all right. J-Ro or Robbie would stand at second, probably depending on who was bowling, and Panther would be at gully, and we just had an absolute who, like, I don't think that season I even dropped him. He just didn't catch him, just because I stood so far behind Chris. I was safe, and nothing was going to come my way. And Panther was just, I can't even remember now, like, the one-liners that come out, but we used to egg each other on, like try and wind each other up to say something funnier. Obviously, as I've said, like a few probably went wide of the mark and were either a little bit too insulting or just not insulting, but also not very funny. But there was some good fun had in there. Like the day there was a catch taken off my head that season too. It might have been the season before, which I suppose I did drop one. It was off Jonah. How he did me for pace off the edge, I don't know. Straight hands onto my forehead and the ball and caught the rebound. And it's going like, that's the season. When you know you're going, if you're getting catches taken off your head, it's probably as a team going all right.
Yeah.
And just the spirit then was absolutely fantastic. Like, it was one of the. It's why I probably for the last few years have never minded coming back, playing for the ones, knowing I'm doing up to do nothing unless things have gone. Like I only have to get involved in the game if it's gone badly. If it goes well, the proper bowlers bowl and the batsmen score the runs, and I just watch, which is fine by me, because it's such an enjoyable group of lads to be a part of. I suppose really, yeah. They're more like we're pretty similar age range. It's weird. Like I've walked out as the oldest player on the pitch a couple of times, which I haven't enjoyed very much. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That was going to be one of my questions. What does make you come back and play?
Can I go for a toilet break first, Morse, and then expand on that for you? Cheers, man.
I'll pause it. I've got a question after that. What question did I ask?
You want me to tell you why I bother coming back, which I kind of touched on. That obviously, the team spirit is definitely a big part of it. But also, like for me, I guess it's, as I touched on earlier, like the lads at Meadows, a good few of them are still my mates, so I grew up playing with, or grew up going to school with, or both, I suppose. So that's definitely a factor. And like, I think because I know I'm only ever going to get to play 7, maybe 8 games a season, probably around work. So like, it's kind of like, if I turn up to a new club down here, say, which I still might do. I mean, particularly like, as I say, I'm looking at buying a house down here, so that might change things just a little bit. I guess certainly if I'm living in a where I'm looking to live, there's a cricket club 200 metres down the road from the house I'm trying to buy. So where you end up playing, I don't know. But like, you turn up somewhere new as a bang average cricketer and say, yeah, I can play 7 or 8 games in a season for you. You're like, well, you're probably looking at either not playing, being farmed out back to the thirds and the fourths, and I've got nothing against that cricket, but I don't want to go and play on council pitches here. Like for me, that's not really what cricket's about. I'm not desperate to go back to playing on your RJNs where I grew up playing a lot of cricket, Whitemoors, Mark Eaton Park, places like that. There's not a lot of enjoyment, I suppose, in that, which yes, touches on. So that means I come back, given that obviously from the first week coming back to Meadows, there was only 2 teams, so you're always going to play either away somewhere or on like one of the best grounds in the county, which is a street. Like, and that's the other factors too. Like, you look around going, where am I going to play that's better than Meadows? Like, so as a place to play, I've been very lucky that, as I said, the school ground here is very, very picturesque. We play our staff games there. The wicket could be better, but it's a beautiful ground. Meadows is obviously absolutely gorgeous. I grew up playing hockey down there too, so I just spent most of my year. It felt like so many days of my week, particularly in the summer, I guess, because you're down there so many days for cricket until late because the light and whatever. It'd been this absolutely idyllic spot. The club I played for up in Scotland too just had this gorgeous, gorgeous setting. Like, you had a scumbag estate if you looked in that direction. But you look in that direction, you've got like the start of the Trossett, which on the big ranges of hills up there, kind of monument that overlooks Stirling, like all from that, and a little like woods with some bluebells in it, just at the bottom of the ground too. Beautiful place to play. So I've been very lucky to play at some really nice grounds, I suppose, which is another definite pull factor in Meadows. But yeah, like mates in the team spirit would be a big thing. I think like
what's the nicest ground you played at other than Meadows? What's the nicest ground you played at?
So nicest in terms of like setting and all that would be, there's a club, Rossi Priory, in Scotland, kind of just north. I think it's just north of Perth, just south of Perth. Been a while, obviously been a few years since I was up there, and their ground was just stunning. If anyone's watched on Netflix, it's called The English Game. It's like the history of football. That part of it's set in the grounds there. It's where one of they go to this like family retreat basically. They're the people who own the priory, but you play with like it's surrounded by trees on most sides. You've got a manor house up on the hill. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, the wicket was an absolute shambles, but it was also the only place where you sat. There was no teas, but they took you out for a full pub meal afterwards. They're like, yeah, we struggled to get a tea lady, but we can go to the local and just you have choice of the menu and the club covers it. I'm like, well, that's genius. So yeah, that was good. That was absolutely beautiful, but not a very good pitch. Best pitch I've played on, not including Meadows, or probably better than Meadows. God, there's been a couple, to be fair. First and second year at uni, we played our matches on the Stirling County Ground, which is one of the ones they played. It's one of the ones that Scotland uses their international venue. Like, it's a serious wicket. It's really, and actually, that's very scenic too. Around Derbyshire way, like Lullington's obviously always right up there. I've not played there since I was a kid, but Lullington's cracking.
I played one of my first ever games at Lullington. I must have been. So I've been playing 21 years, so about 21 years ago. And that's the last time I ever played at Lullington. Just never been in their division. Never.
Yeah. Well, now North South split. Obviously, they're not. We don't get to play them anymore, do we? And obviously, in terms of, I think for the first team, Lullington are probably still a Prem side, are they? I don't know. So
I think so.
Then we used to play in some gorgeous places with Spotted Cow Team. That's kind of the whole point of the Spotted Cow Team. Back when it used to be a play every Sunday throughout the summer. Yeah. Was quite a strong team for a while too. Like, we'd basically pick our opponents, and you'd only go to places with good grounds, good people, and good teams. Was kind of the rationale. Like, if on one in a year, if a venue let themselves down on those bases, you might have like a 1 year bliss period where you'd be like, right, okay, you've behaved like dicks today or whatever. Your teas were substandard. We'll come back next year. It was like there used to be enough clubs wanting to play us. If they kind of fell short on any of those measures too much, then you'd be like, oh, we'll play something else next year. So like Elton on the kind of road from Cromford over toward Buxton is stunningly beautiful. Like, gorgeous place to play. No, I think it's now might have had it, or when I last played there, they were building a more modern pavilion. But you just have like a kind of shack in the corner, basically, where there's a curtain just the two changing rooms just divided by one curtain down the middle. You had your teas in there. Well, you'd normally sit outside your teas, but like teas were laid out in there too. No shower. There's like a toilet around the back kind of thing. So that was stunning. But yeah, I think that's the thing with cricket. There's so many things that can go into making it a good ground, aren't there? And that's where Meadows probably does so well, in that it's got the setting, the quality of surface. I know, like, every now and again we give Jeff stick for the wickets, but like, without being funny, you look at all the grounds along the A6 Stirling River corridor. None of them have pace and bounce, right? It's just the nature of the geography of the area. You need to lay concrete if you want the ball to bounce there. So they're good. They're seriously good decks generally. The outfields.
There's a reason why Derbyshire seconds play down there every single year.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a beautiful ground. I think it's like one of the things that Meadows probably got wrong for a long time was like this phrase, this ground deserves to be like a Premier League club or like whatever, or a division. We deserve to be a top club because we've got this ground. Like, well, no, it doesn't work like that. Yes, this ground is clearly capable of hosting high level cricket. Of course it is. Like, but you don't get your ground alone does not give you a God-given right to be in a division. It's like Leeds United deserve to be in the Premier League, or Newcastle should win trophies. Whatever. It doesn't work the same way. Like, absolutely, it's great, but host cricket, high level cricket, but we've got to play the cricket of the right standards to get back to that. It's on us, or on, well, it wouldn't be on me, because if we can get back to those kind of standards, I certainly won't be playing. But it's on the club to get to a level, get the right players, get the right quality cricket being played, so the cricket befits the ground, not say, the ground befits the cricket almost. Does that make sense? That's, I guess, it's so hard to beat Meadows. It ticks the box in every way. You can probably find grounds with a better clubhouse. You can find a ground with a better surface. You can find a ground with a better setting, although you're going to struggle on that. But like, to find a ground that is as good in all three areas is going to be a real challenge, I look for.
Yeah. I played a game up at Chatsworth once, at Chatsworth House. Have you ever seen their cricket ground or played at their cricket ground?
When I don't even know, I might have been too young to even play, I think, that day. But like a touring side, somehow managed to get hold of so yeah, I've been to the ground there. But I mean, that would be back in like late 80s probably.
That's lovely there. It's got, I just love like the old thatch pavilions, like any ground with an old thatch pavilion. Big fan.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Yeah, you're right, it's got the thatch. I mean, from memory, the pitch itself is probably second rate, but again,
I played up there, and it was they had some big thing on up at Chatsworth. It was a bank holiday weekend, and we turned up, and there was thousands of people, thousands.
Come to watch you back.
So obviously, like, you had to pay for parking, and we turned up and asked the steward, like, "Oh, where's the cricket ground?" And he's like, "Oh, just follow the path down there. Are you playing today?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "Oh, yeah, it's free to park down there."
Yeah, yeah.
So we're driving past all like that 10,000 people. But
Nice.
yeah, it was just a glorious day. But we got hammered that day. I was playing for a friendly team that day, and they
Yeah.
racked up about 270 and bowled us out for about 120 odd. But
Oh, wow.
the fact that it was just like you got Chatsworth House there, then you got the river running past, you got the fast pavilion. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't care if I've been panned today.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. As a location, that's pretty epic, isn't it? That's pretty epic. Like, I think Derbyshire's probably quite lucky too to have so many grounds that are in really places. Like, again, even if the wicket's dodgy or whatever, like, you think about some of the group we were talking about earlier, like playing on some of these really poor grounds in thirds and fourth 11s. Like, they're still. I remember going up to Stone. No, not I'm getting the wrong place. Middleton before they merged the Worksworth and playing a game there. Like, facility-wise, awful. Wicket, I remember being kind of all right, but what a place. It's like, I think we were a nice day, and the views are it's a bit not dissimilar to being up at Amateurs. The Amateurs has got, more of a pavilion, etc., better setup there. But we all know that Amateurs, like, on a, if you see Amateurs on your fixture card in April, May, or September, you're thinking, God, this is going to be a bit grim. But if you get it in July, late June, August, you think, you're right, this could be, if the weather's good, it's hard to find a nicer spot, isn't it? Like, there's so many grounds like in Derbyshire, kind of old village or town grounds in nice locations with some, and the scenery around Derbyshire, particularly you go like the north section of Derbyshire with the hills and that, the scenery is outrageous in a lot of these places. So that's very good.
Worksworth Junior still use Middleton.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, because our under 15s played up there last year, year before.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was, because I was supposed to go up to watch him, turned up at Worksworth, nobody at Worksworth's main ground, so I was ringing up going, "Where are you?" Like, "Oh, we're up at Middleton." I'm like, "Well, where's that?" I had to Google it, like, go through this farmland to try and find the ground.
I've not been there since I was probably 14, 15 either, but yeah, it's I remember it being a bit of a weird one to get to. But then that used to be the blow for me, which used to be when we played Denby midweek junior stuff. It used to be right if you played them on a Sunday morning under 13s. If you played a midweek at 15s or 12s, whatever it was back then, they'd almost always play their games over at Charles Hill at Losco. And because it was before a second pitch, or even I think the little baby square at the bottom. So the amount of times you'd say, "Oh, Denby, that'll be all right," and they'd be like, "Off to bloody Losco midweek to play these." I mean, that is not a place to. I've played quite a bit there, I guess, with like various third and 14 matches that I've played there against probably Denby and Marehay, I guess, and I think Shipley Hall might have played there for a bit, and that's another nice ground, to be fair. But yeah, going there for a junior game was a blow. Like, "Oh, great, Denby. Oh no, Charles Hill, brilliant, thanks."
I think someone was saying the other day, I think it was Boise saying they're having a new pavilion built there.
At Charles Hill?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never played there before.
It wasn't like, again, it wasn't one of those places where the pitch was horrific. It was just bleak, like big open space. Like you had to go into like, almost I remember like going, I felt like you were going deep into the sports centre to find a change, so you couldn't watch. You couldn't watch from the changing rooms or from the pavilion. I had to just go pull up on you. It's just like all the kind of third and fourth team council grounds are, that it's a pitch with some facilities just about close enough to make use of, and probably, as I say, by actual quality of pitch, it was probably one of the better ones. But
yeah,
none of those grounds I remember playing on, like I say, in the third and fourth back in the day. It was very, very rare, unless you had a club who you were playing their first or second, so you got to play on their main ground, which there weren't many of. Like, it was pretty rare to find anywhere particularly nice to play on a Saturday. You used to play a lot of or try and get a lot of games moved on to Sundays to play on clubs' main grounds. And that, I think, obviously was a lot more enjoyable to play somewhere nice. Yeah.
So we'll move on to your Room 101 features. Yeah. Where you can give me 3 things what you hate about cricket or want to change about cricket, and I get to decide whether they get in the bin or they stay in the game.
Yeah.
So what's your first offering?
Well, as we've talked, I thought of more things. Like, it's quite tricky. I had a list of 3 that became 4 just before we started. And then the more I've been speaking to them, I'm like, actually, that's another thing that's shit about sport. There's lots of things I like about sport. So I guess my first thing that's definitely, I nearly forgot this one, but it's one of the things that has annoyed me the most for years and like nearly ruined Meadows. Like, paid players need to get in the bin. It's not the players' fault. It's the club's fault for paying them. But like, there's no argument for it. There's no reason how paying players can be good. Like, if there is, you're going to have to try really hard to convince me. Like, I've no.
I totally agree with you. Like, I've used this phrase quite a bit of brown envelopes for bang average players.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's just, I'm not sure I don't understand the purpose. So I get like clubs having an overseas player. There's massive value to that, as opposed to that. I think it's a good thing to offer. So hopefully, it's mostly aspiring cricketers from other countries who maybe want to come and learn the game in other conditions, and that's a good thing for them to do. If you go down the model, it's probably not costing the club very much of anything.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. They normally, historically, I've been a number I've kind of played or come across are generally pretty good at understanding they're coming over on a cultural thing much even and will put back into the club, and that's great.
I've always thought that, like, your overseas player, you pay him, and they basically just put that money straight back behind the bar.
Really. And like, people criticised. I don't know if it's clear, like Harry Sodhi when he was at Meadows back in 05-ish, probably something like that. And sometimes he got a rep because like he didn't drink and he was, he's not sport. It's like, actually, he still put a lot of hours into the club. Like, so you're right, obviously, a lot of times, particularly when you go down the Aussie route, it generally goes back over the bar. But like, I don't think that's necessarily what I think it is. If you've just got one overseas from anywhere, they would generally get the idea of supporting the club as much as they feel they can too. Yeah. And like, I think it's good to have people to look up to around the club, whether it doesn't have to be directly coaching juniors or other players, but just by example and the way they go about their business. Hopefully players realise, he is actually, putting hours in training. He does think about, just chatting to them even about theories. It'd be really helpful. Then like clubs who pay players, and Meadows did it, and as I say, it nearly, like, the club could have gone, I'd gone to uni by the time I think it really hit the pan, but I can't imagine we were that far away from ceasing to either totally getting very close to folding, basically. And like, you look around, Derbyshire's littered with clubs who've fallen down the same problem. Whether you go to a Shipley, I think Shipley have, Stainsbury did it, Worksop did it once and seem to be doing it again. Other clubs, I'm sure as well, that I've either forgotten about or don't know about. And it didn't help. Because like, in a lot of sports, the argument for paying and increase is that it'll raise standards, it'll increase professionalism. But I just don't really see how it works that in cricket. So like, hockey's gone the same way recently, where some clubs are starting to pay. But the difference being, you've got a top league, you've got a national Premier League, right? That any club in the country can get promoted into. Where it's so, what we ended up with is pretty much in an amateur semi-professional sport, we ended up with a fairly professional top division, which has allowed those players to, a lot of them are tied in with also doing jobs linked to sports. So that'd be like doing a similar hockey coaching job to what I do without the teaching, maybe. So they spend half a day every day of the week coaching and half a day training, or whatever it might be. Or some clubs are fortunately owned by people who maybe run businesses where they can find a bit of work for the paid players as well. So they maybe pay them at 10,000 over to play hockey, and another 20,000 to work 3 days a week in the factory, whatever it might be. And it makes, so therefore the standard gets driven up in the game. That's fine. But in cricket, like, because we've got however many county leagues in the country, or even some of them have gone regional, haven't they? Regional Premier Leagues. Like, even if the Derbyshire Prem increases in standard because of paid players, I'm not sure anyone can make enough money from the money that's going around in cricket for it to be their profession. They're still doing a job and cricket. So the hours that the money allows you to train more professionally, I'm not sure I buy for cricket very much. And even if we have one really good Premier League or a handful of really good Premier Leagues in the country, it's a real, like, distant, big leap to get from improved club cricket to maybe that having a knock-on effect to county cricket in the local area, to maybe that having an effect on, like, the national team. Whereas it's more direct in other sports, I suppose, when money does the rounds in sports, where there's an open promotion relegation structure and a clear throughout the country, and all clubs can aspire to improve and get to the top level. Like, clubs in Derbyshire cannot get any higher than Derbyshire Prem. Yeah. There's no, therefore, I don't get it. Clubs who just throw money that would be better spent on junior investment, would be better spent on facilities, would be better to spend the money on than there are, for me, in my opinion, on players. I would say Meadows were just as guilty as anybody else for a period of time. And it's one of the reasons that probably I'd stuck around and not gone off. Like, for me, probably uni came at a good time. Else I probably would have left. I'd probably gone and played cricket somewhere else because it was doing my head in. You'd come down, you'd come back from a game on our General Whitehall from the Ferns, and you'd walk into the bar and be asked to buy, like, I was a vegetarian, every week be asked to buy raffle tickets for a bloody meat raffle. And then said I wasn't doing my bit, told I wasn't doing my bit when I buy them. Like, I'm all in favour of supporting club events, don't get me wrong. And all in favour of, I understand that you don't enter a raffle generally, you are making it's essentially a donation with a small chance of winning. But I'm not going to enter a raffle for something I don't want to win with the money to go to something I don't want us to spend it on. Like, I mean, it came to an absolute head one season down at Whitemore. We're playing, I don't know if you've met John Beard, I think he plays amateurs now. He's one who did get into the club as a 30-odd, 40-year-old, having not played since probably school days and that kind of thing. And oh my God, he could biff a cricket ball. But he was like, then became a bit of a stalwart of the third team, really, third and fourth. Great bloke, absolute hoot. I remember we had this one, so he lost his rag. Like, we down at Whitemore, they'd bought us mugs to have. We didn't have any mugs for tea. We used to have plastic cups for tea and coffee at teas. So the club had splashed out and bought us some mugs. So they'd gone to IKEA and got, I don't know, 20 mugs there, right? But they'd got ones with no bloody handles on them. So if you held them, porcelain cups with heat, obviously hot liquid on the inside, you burnt your bloody fingers. So Beardy's like, come back down and been asked for another raffle ticket or, the football blackout strips and that kind of one of those. He's like, I am not paying any more money to this club until you buy some kin mugs with kin handles. The basic point of it, you're like, and that was what paid players did at the club. It had created animosity that just hadn't been there before. Suddenly it was like hate the first team for no reason. Like, we still had some lads who'd grown up through the club in the first team, but then you look also, and I don't know the reasons why. Joe Connelly stopped playing, Dave Whiteley left, Joe Wazza left, Rowie left, but they were young lads who, grown up in the club and were then playing alongside, or in some cases being kept out of the side by blokes who were being paid. And like, particularly at the time, some of the blokes who were paying weren't doing any better than the lads that we were growing up with. And it became vicious, like, then you didn't know who else was taking money too. Whether it be I think now we all know Ben McGonigal was taking money. That's not his fault. I get it. Don't blame the players. At the end of the day, if you're doing a job and you can then be topped up by an amount of money at the weekend doing something you enjoy doing, I can completely understand why. Like, if I was good enough, it'd be a dilemma for me to think about too. I'd like to sit here and go, I would never take the money, but that's easy to say when I know it's never going to be an issue. So it's fine to take more high. But so it's not the player's fault. You can say that it gets a bit toxic. If you're a player who thinks, well, I got more runs than the bloke who's being paid today, and I've paid my tenner, what have I done that for? So paid players need to go, in my opinion. That's definitely it. I think you're in agreement, Morgs, too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just don't get it. And it's just the fact that some players now are playing second 11 cricket and getting paid. And
really?
Yeah, and you get players who are you approach you to join the club, go and say, oh yeah, I really want to join you, and you go, oh yeah, and they go, how much are you going to pay me? Nothing. Why would we pay you? Like your top score.
That's different, isn't it? Jamie's. We've got to get a bloke getting 30 every week, so it's Jamie's well worth the money, right? Yeah.
I played against someone in the past, and he was getting paid, and I looked at his stats afterwards. And he was playing as a batsman, and he'd never scored a century. He was getting paid for it. Well,
I think there'd be a few those who fell by that one in those seasons. By the way, there are a few lads who came as good batsmen, scraped to 300-400 runs in a season. It's just a shambles. In some ways, I was thinking with the seconds. I do remember one nothing. So you remember, obviously, Devon Malcolm used to play for England. He signed with Tunstall.
I played against him.
And I think he ended up playing seconds. Now, I don't know if they're still paying him or not, but if you're going down, that's almost like putting your money into junior development. You're going to make a case. If you're going to run like an academy side, and the bloke's going to play with them and bring them up, but he's really there to help the juniors. He's not being paid based on. He always want him to be paid bonuses. If a kid gets 3 wickets or a kid gets 50, maybe not. I can kind of see the point of that. You're getting someone with an absolute fountain of knowledge into a team to help make other players better. That would, in some ways, like maybe paying a second team person to do something like that makes more sense than paying a bloke who, I know, comes over from the Notts Prem. Oh yeah, I got 600 runs and 30 wickets in the Notts Prem last year. I'm really good. Fucking good for you. We're not paying you. You've done it once or whatever. I think I'm more interested in, but I think the money's got to, if you're going to spend money, it's got to be long-term investment, because there's no prize money. Or is there any prize money? I don't know.
I think you win £1,000 for winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get some clubs paying 25 grand in players.
If you're paying 10 grand for somebody who might make a lot of other people better in the long run, there's maybe some logic to that, I suppose. But paying money to win trophies, I can't imagine the sponsorship offers are rolling in after you win the Derbyshire Prem either, and kind of seeing. I don't see how it's a business model that creates money, and therefore surely you spend money on things that are helping you more than just winning a couple of cups. But
Yeah.
again, paid players, look, crock of shit, get rid of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So your second offering?
Yeah, no, it's interesting actually. There's 3 left on my list, and I think one of them were covered kind of. I nearly feel like when sledging doesn't work and it's just vile, but that can probably stay because I've got 2 spots left and I want to use them for other things. So my first thing, this really annoys me. It gets me every time. Whiteley and the Aussie will know exactly what my problem there is because I ball them out for it on a weekly basis when they're both being captain. Meeting like an hour and a bit before a game. I do not understand it. Like, I got it when I was in the 4 team at Whitemore and we had to like put the flags out. We had to sometimes go and like, someone have to go and find someone who had a key to the padlock to get the old like fence from around the square.
Yeah.
What the point? It did not stop people's dogs having a turn on the pitch or people taking touching wedges off the pitch, whatever. I'm sure they thought there was a reason. Like, I got it when you turn it something like that and you need to do everything. And to an extent, I get it even for turning up at Meadows when, like, you need to maybe move the covers, get the sight screens in place and put the rope out. But I mean, these are not major tasks. If you've got 11 blokes there, those tasks do not take very long to be anyway. So we turn up at Meadows an hour and 15 before in order to have 15 minutes sorting the pitch of the place out, which 50 minutes is maybe fine. Why the fuck do we need to be there an hour before the game still? Like, I just can't get my head around it more. It's like, here's the things we do. So, firstly, some bloke's going to have throwdowns, potentially 6 hours before they're going to have a bat. You tell me how having some batting practice is hitting 20 balls at an underarm to you on the half volley is going to make you better when you go out to bat in the middle of the game and six hours later. It's not, right? I'm going to tell you it's not. It might help you get in the right mental state. And we'll come back to more issues on this in a minute. Then we play football. Fine. It's not a warm-up. Like, if you want to do an aerobic warm-up where you actually get the blood pumping, football is not the way. My team, when we park the bus, we're bloody Jose Mourinho tactics every time I play this, and we just don't let the other team score. It's great. Like, we do all this, then it's, right, won the toss, lads. We're having a bat. All right, great. I shall go and sit on my arse for the next 4 hours watching you lot then. What's the bloody point of this? And the thing that annoys me the most of these warm-ups, so the meets annoy me the most, in that when we go to an away game, we meet just as early as a home game, yet apparently we meet early for a home game because we've got to sort shit out around the ground. Yeah, we go to an away game and we play it anyway. That's a bit of I don't like that. Warm-ups would make more sense to me if we then, so let's say we have a bat first and it goes well. The bowlers have been through their motions, we've done the running, the stretching, we've took our catches, then we have the toss and final batting. So like, well, what the hell did I just do all that for? And then we come out after tea and we don't bother warming up. So like, if the warm-up's so fucking important, Morgs, surely we do it again when we're actually going out to do in the field. So pointless warm-ups, shit sports science, Morgs, shit sports science. It does my head in. Either do it properly or don't do it. And don't meet as early as we do if we're going to do anything. I'm not sure it's the most popular opinion because I know Meadows love an early meet, but it does my head in.
I can see the pros and cons in this. I mean, being a captain of seeing sometimes and having certain individuals, you kind of have to tell them you have to turn up an hour and 15 minutes early just for them to turn up half an hour before you start.
Everyone knows when the start time is. It's not like some sports. So if you play, I know it's like in like Saturday afternoon football, Sunday morning football, but in hockey, genuinely, like the start times can be anything from about 10 in the morning to 5 at night. I assume it's probably the same in local football too, where your start time varies. In cricket, every fucking game starts at the same time. So everyone knows when the start is. So that's why lads turn up late. Because they know that no matter what time you ask me to meet, I know that unless it's like, I know it changes in the month. So it's still the change in the month sometimes. If it's in August, it's not the same as June. But basically everyone knows when the game starts. So lads will, of course, turn up whenever they feel like sometimes, lad. I can understand your point that it's, if you tell them an hour before, you might get them half an hour before, and then I do see that.
I'm going to say no to this, and this is my reason why I'm going to say no.
Get me a transfer form. I'm doing it.
It's because when I played for Little Eton, and I know I talk about Little Eton a lot,
not as much as nobody talks.
But when clubs turned up before the game and were warming up and going through the drills and doing stuff, as an opposition, we were defeated because we're thinking, these are good. And it goes down to the mental side of things. I think they just look more professional. And I know there's a lot around why do we do it before the game, but not for the second innings? But I think that is something what Paul Allen was implementing this year. Before you go out to field in the second innings, you do a fielding warm up.
So you can't. I think if you did that, I'd have a lot more sympathy for it. And also maybe for me, like I would suggest that perhaps if you were pre-toss warm, if you like, so say 45 minutes before the game. Like, I'm not saying we don't warm up. I think the warm up structure is that, and it's not just Meadows. Like pretty much every club goes down a fairly who you play against. So certainly when I played, I've predominantly played first team in the last few years, not out of ability but out of randomness. Like pretty much every club follows a fairly similar pattern. And if you went like for 15 minutes before the warm up and you did your running and your stretching, and then before the tee roll, but before the toss, you do your running and your stretching, and then the toss happens, and if you're a bowler, you then take and you're like a lower order batsman isn't going to, like, there's no value having you throw down, so you're batting at 8, because like that's not going to help you then.
Yeah.
Like, fine, I would then, as a number 9, number 8 batter in the ones generally want to play. Fine, if you then if a top of batsman wants a few throwdowns, wants whatever, or even I just need to fetch the ball because they keep whacking it, that's then maybe my job at that stage. But then also, before if we win the toss and have a bowl, maybe the batsmen who know they're not going to do much bowling, they should be doing their catching, or they can get a mitt on and help the bowlers practice their bowling. That's fine. But then tees half. Now you can have your 5 minutes after you finish the innings, get in 50 minutes for tea, and 10. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes back on the pitch, prepping for whatever it is you're doing second time round. It'd make a lot more sense. So I guess I don't want to bin off warm-ups entirely. I want to bin off in what, in my opinion, are crap warm-ups and pointless warm-ups would be more. So I'm going to try and persuade you there more, that a good warm-up can stay. A pointless warm-up, in my opinion, should go.
Yeah, I can see the point. The pointless warm-up. I'll put your thing in the recycling bin. And I did this for Coops the other day.
All right. What did Coops only get in the recycling bin? What did he want rid of?
I can't remember. I put something in the recycling bin.
I'm glad words matter to you more, because it's good. I thought we were making a difference here, man. Right. Fair.
So your third offering?
Third offering. This will be controversial with you as well. This is not. I think the fourth would have been more of a crowd pleaser. But the third I want to get rid of is nonsense stats. All right? I do not want to hear, and this does my head in. And it's one of the things that probably ties in with what I said to you about, like, earlier on, about probably my cricket getting marginally better when I stopped caring as much. Like, I couldn't give a damn. Like, I hate it when you turn up to a game, particularly when it's like lower game, with the handful I've played in the seconds in the last few years. But it's just equally so in the first one. You just told, that bloke, he got a 5 for last week. He got 600 runs last season. I couldn't give a damn. Like, it's amateur sport. Blokes have good days and bad days, right? Obviously, if you've got a bloke who bangs out, different when the first team used to play and did, or there's probably still blokes do it now, but maybe I knew more about it younger. And there was a period when they had a couple of seasons, I think, playing the Division 1 against Alfreton, who had Matt Lineker, who scored like 1,000 runs every bloody season. And you're going, like, fair enough, he's probably pretty good. And like, we maybe.
But you know he's good. You don't need to.
Exactly. You've not got a deep analysis that goes, he's quite good, but he's weak out. He's not good on this shot, or if we can do this to him. Like, if it's followed up by, there's actually not just a knobby nonsense theory, but an actual theory at how we can counteract this player. Like, arguably, if there's a bowler who we know just likes to bowl he'll bowl a big spell first up, he's a handy bowler, knowing that and thinking, can we just sit on him, is probably useful. But like, just knowing, like, it does my head in week after. Did you get this? Did you see? Do you know? I'll come back after playing a game. Someone asked me, was such and such playing? I'm like, how am I meant to know such and such is playing? I don't know. Like, if they were, particularly if we're playing, like, obviously pretty much every season for the first team of late, we've been at the top end of the league. And we'll be rocking up to play 8th or 9th or whatever, right? And we spend time talking about the fact that they've got this good player. I'm like, without being funny, lads, if he was that good, they wouldn't be 8th or 9th, would they? Like, if he was this bowler who we're worried is going to tear through us and we're scoring 200 every week, like, he's probably not. The logic would say to me, we're top, they're 9th. We're going to, if we just focus on ourselves, this is what I'll be doing before the match rather than warming up. I'll be talking about what are we good at, remind ourselves what we can do. Nonsense stats, cannot be dealing with them. I don't care. It's not useful. Focus on what we're good at, not what they're good at, particularly half the time. like I remember I've done this. So I've got. Do you remember that one game I captained for the Tooth last year?
Yeah.
When I turned up and the lads didn't know who I was, but so I was captain of the juniors. Like, so I got a text in the week off one of the players telling me I had to bowl myself because the opposition couldn't play spin. Like, we don't know. It's playing a second 11. The opposition could be anybody, right? It's a few lads could be dropped from the ones, come up from the thirds, whatever. We have no idea if they're good or bad or indifferent against spin. Even if they're bad against spin, I reckon they'll still hit me. But then I got another text from one of our players, who will remain nameless for now, on the morning of the match, who sent me through his bowling stats from the season for consideration as to whether he should bowl or not during the game. I'm like, what is this? What is it? It's like play cricket has done a lot of good things for sport, for the sport probably, but it has done a lot of bad things too. Like, I can't be doing this constant like drivel about a bloke who averaged 28 in 1999 or something. Give a shit. Play your own game.
Well, as many people know, I am a massive stats person.
You are a bad
I love a good stat, but I happen to agree with you here that opposition. Yeah, I couldn't care less what the opposition. Yeah, I don't look at league averages. I don't look at team averages. The only times I use stats is working on trying to get the best out of your own team and seeing.
Yeah.
That's how I work things out. And Nick's the same. Nick looks at it of how to sort your batting order out and bowling orders out, and where people aren't scoring runs and when they do score runs. Looking at it from at your own team, I think it works. But stats do like it. And looking at an average, they do like someone could bat 8, 9, 10 and very rarely get out and score 2 or 3 every week. And it accumulates. But if you actually look at their team percentage runs, for instance, it'd be very, very low. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Looking at opposition stats, like, I couldn't care less. You've still got to get them out. They've still got to bowl at you.
Exactly. And I remember we turned up. It was back in the day, the thirds one week. This is 13 cricket, right? We're playing. It was either Whitmore or Wingworth because it was on that ground that they both played at. I can't remember which team it was. And before the game, everyone's just going on and on. They had a lad who's probably my-ish age at the time, probably 16 or so. And apparently he'd scored 300s already this season. And if it wasn't the fact his dad was playing, because obviously they're both one team clubs, he'd have gone to a big club. He'll be in the Derbyshire Juniors. He'll do this. He'll do that. It could have been a young Joe Root for all I know, and he was actually class. I have no idea. But we're all going on about this bloke is the best thing ever. Third ball, you just chip from undercover, and you're like, well, we still lost the game, right? So we got out. The bloke is apparently going to ravage us to all parts as a 16-year-old because he played a crap shot, as any batsman can do. We still didn't bloody win. I'm like, brilliant. We've got the only. Apparently, listen to everything before the match. We have got the only bloke who can play out. So we're presumably going to win this game in the next half hour. And it's very odd. It's very odd. I don't think it happens. I think obviously cricket's a very stat-based sport, isn't it? It's easy to find stats within, and particularly advent of play cricket. But it's a very individual sport, and I guess it probably therefore it lends itself to it more than any other sport too, where people will obsess about. Some people get really on their own stats, don't they? And others, looking at the data crunching in the week and who's win percentages and whatever. Also, I guess the point system doesn't help in that either. When you kind of do sometimes feel you have to study things a little bit to work out where you stand going into a game, and particularly by the back end of the season, maybe working out your scenarios. I saw that going in the bin. I think both Nick and Chris wanted the draws gone, didn't they? As well, was that right? When they play it? I quite liked what I think Chris mentioned that his brothers like to do, where you have the half season thing. I quite like that as a
lot of people seem to be in favour of that. As playing white kit cricket after season.
This is what I've got to be honest. I don't get when I think on the chat with Nico, you got particularly into wearing coloured clothing.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I didn't like the idea. It was good. I don't get it as a. I've got no real objection to it.
Did you see the kit that Callum Geary designed?
I'm not. No, I don't know who Callum Geary is, mate. Is he one of our?
He plays in the third team.
Right.
I'll get the kit up.
Yeah,
it's a work of art. It is beautiful. Empty moments.
That's all right. I think it's not a problem playing in coloured clothing. It doesn't change the sport, right? The game is just the same game. Surely, would be my point. The lad's not going to like. I can't see anyone liking the game anymore because of the coloured kit you wear. I could be wrong.
I think a lot of people. arguments towards it is towards the future of the game. I think because kids just love 2020 cricket these days.
No, for sure. I don't. So if you want to play 2020, that's absolutely fine. And I get that, like on the TV, it's in coloured clothes. And so I don't mind playing it in coloured clothes at all. But I think like you can play the practice of playing a 2020 with a red ball doesn't mean it's any different. It's just a different coloured ball, right? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all the kit, Max.
Yeah.
That is that. I mean, that's very lovely. I'd gladly play cricket in that. Like, no problem at all. It's a really nice kit. And like, actually, I've got a mate who makes it. If you want it done, let me know. I'll get him onto it. But like big for me would certainly be in terms of one of the barriers to cricket. I suppose there's a few barriers for lads playing cricket, right? Time is one of them. Probably finances is another one. Realistically, like it's quite an expensive. I think it's not bad value, particularly given that you never know if you pay your £10 a week to go play football or hockey or basketball or whatever it might be, rugby. You know probably you're playing the game, right? Most of those games at level, I think, do like I don't know what football's like, but I think probably at a lower level maybe even allows rotational subs. I don't know, so you. Fairly aware of getting, you're paying your tenner and you're pretty aware what product you're buying. You're buying, right? You're buying. So, like for me as a hockey player, I'm probably going to spend 55 minutes on the pitch, 50 minutes off the pitch on rotational subs, and I'm happy to pay my tenner a week for that. That's fine. Cricket, obviously, you're going to be on the pitch for the duration of the game potentially, but as you said earlier, the opening batsman who then gets naff all that week, or the bowler who doesn't get a chance to bowl because his teammates only managed to scramble. His batsman only made 50 all out, so. And he's a spinner inside, he doesn't even get on for a bowl, he's got to pay his tenner still. Like, it's quite a price, and I guess the equipment involved is generally quite pricey too, a full playing kit, whether that be whites or coloured clothing, is probably going to be a similar cost. You're probably looking, if you want a jumper, a shirt, and a pair of trousers, and a pair of shoes, you've got to have some shoes, whether you're wearing trainers or spikes, whatever, it's probably getting on for 60 or 70 quid. If you want to start getting batting gear as well, you're looking at really, I mean, a bat alone, wrong side of 100 probably pretty much minimum, plus your pads. Like it's an expensive game to play. So I think certainly whatever kit you're playing in, you need to play in the same kit, or like there needs to be one, in my opinion. And I have no objection to playing, other than the fact that I'm maybe not convinced by county league rules. Like if we're playing 40 over a side, winning, losing, draw cricket, I'll just as happy play that in blue kit with an orange ball. I couldn't care. Like I just don't see it as much of an issue. But if you're asking blokes to potentially pay out for it, and clubs as well, if you're going to use a coloured ball, you need different sight screens, or you need at least. And I know, like on its own, it might seem relatively minor costs, but it's certainly like as well as anyone works with you for fundraising, you've done to help the club out, like the running costs of the club.
Yeah.
Certainly, potentially, like I just thought the club will pay you for the coloured kit. Great. What you again? What I always say about paid players, just wonder if there's things that the money could be. So would I rather the club buy black drapes for the sight screens, coloured balls, and blue shirts for everybody, or would I rather the club buy a bowling machine? Like I don't know, maybe that's not a like for like. Would I rather the club buy a new roller when it's needed, a new cover, any things actually are kind of necessities to play cricket? So I think you've got to go with one, because you can ask a bloke who turns out to play, or a woman who can't play their cricket, to buy one set of kit. That's absolutely fair enough. But I don't think you can start asking them to own two. And obviously for some, it's absolutely fine. Like unfortunately, I'm lucky to be in a position whereby if you told me I've got to buy a blue kit and a white kit, I can probably afford to do that. But it's certainly going to put some people off, isn't it, if you go down that. So yeah, I guess it's an interesting one. I think I quite like the idea of a blended season where you play different styles of cricket, because although I'm not a big fan of a losing draw, I suppose it does, like I was saying to you earlier, like the idea the best games are the games of attention. And if you smoke, absolutely, you kind of deserve to win if you smoke 300, like you do. But I think if there's nothing right, like you see, it's one of the issues of one-day cricket. Some of the times when you see it on the telly, like that's one of the good things about 2020, because it's so short. Generally, like you're very rarely out of the game unless you're batting first and you're 50 for 6, or you're batting second and you're 50 for 6 chasing 150 or whatever. It's not long enough for you to be out of it, really. You can always turn it on its head. But like in 50 over cricket, you watch, like, I can't think, games like what was on the telly the other day when England smoked Australia for 490, and Australia, or it was in Australia, like they were never going to get. They lost 2 or 3 wickets before they got, like they couldn't get close. And that's international. Well, realistically, teams can chase big scores. At club level, it's not going to happen so much. Like I wonder about even having a system whereby, like I think Chris might actually too. Maybe it's 20 points for a win and nothing for losing. This is basically what we did in Scotland, and then you but you still have the bonus point system stays the same. So it's 2 points for a point for every 2 wickets. Sorry, so if you're bowling second and you're at the top end of the league, you might still that last point you might still really need. And also the opposition can still be bloody minded and try and stop you getting it. They don't get anything for you not getting the point, but you have to work them out still, rather than just giving you all the points for. I think it takes away from the skill of bowlers if you don't require the bowlers to get people out, I guess would be my point.
Yeah.
And it gives teams, you can still then play for some things of that inside, even if it is just to be awkward and cost the opposition 1 or 2 points. And I think that's maybe that's maybe fair enough that you lose 1 point or 2 points when you've only got a side 7 or 9 wickets down. But at the moment when you lose 10 or 12, you're like, fucking come on, like we like that one game I counted last year, we got 60 more runs and then got them 9 down and walked off with 5 points more than them or something like that. You're like, how is that right? Like we've absolutely mullered all the show for it. So I definitely think it could be revamped, but I wouldn't want to bin off some of the things that theoretically draw cricket does encourage. I think are positive. It's just which is not. We're not jumping up my room 101 obviously because I've finished my. I've had my 3, but I just think it's interesting. I think cricket needs to be more forward thinking, maybe about. The other thing it should definitely do. How the hell have we not got a Douglas Lewis system for when it rains? We have that.
A lot of leagues do have it now, but they seem to be lacking behind a little bit.
Yeah, we just had an app on the league website.
I'll be nice. I'll give you your bonus 4th option. I know you've got one written down.
Oh, it was about sledging, although now we're more about the point system. I think needs reform, but I guess that's more of a recycle option than a bin option. But it's blokes who sledge and just walk out and tell you you're shit, or walk out and tell you I have got plenty of things you can point out to me and I walk out to bat, right? Firstly, get to know every week, are you the bus driver? No, because we don't have a fucking bus, right? And also the one thing I turn up to do is have a beer after generally, so I'm not driving any vehicles for anyone. Like, you're rubbish, you're only here to make it the numbers. I'm well aware of that fact. Like, but what you don't understand, unfortunately, as the player for another club is I'm perfectly happy with that arrangement. Like, as discussed, it's a good bunch of lads. I'd rather do it. And it happens to, you hear, I've heard Meadows lads say some really abhorrent things too. Like, I called out lads, it got laughed at for doing it at the time. I called out lads in the game, I captained for the 2s last year and 1 game for the 1s, where we got a 6 or gay shout from someone. Like, that's just not on. Like, we can't, I guess maybe I'm acutely aware of it because it's the kind of thing I pick up on kids saying in a playground and you have to call them out for it. But like, you can't bandy around race, culture and sexuality as criticism anymore. It's just not okay. With hindsight, it never was okay, but it was culturally acceptable for 20 years ago. It's not anymore. Like, you can't call someone a girl. Like, quite rightly, you shouldn't be like throwing that around either.
I mean, it's just a weird saying as well.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point of it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, be more inventive. So like, I'd always try and say something. If I'm gonna throw, like, and also a thing with me, like for sledging, it's not about trying to go at the batsman or the bowler. It's generally about me trying to make my day a little bit more cheerful. Like, it's a long goal. There have been days we've been playing, particularly like those maybe the bat first ones. So the bowl first ones are often the worst. Right, we bowl first. And the Oppo, we get, like, Robbie and Jonah used to pick up 5 wickets in the opening 20 overs regularly, right? And they wouldn't go, it would be like, they'd be like 40 for 5, 40 for 6 off 20, 23, whatever, by the time one of them comes off. Like, we all know the game's finished. There's no way that game is, but the opposition, they're fair enough doing the right thing and they'll try and drag it out until, bat their overs, get what they can on the board. But they would always know too that realistically, like, the form Nick's been in when he's been over here, Jamie, Chris, Joe Slater at the top used to make runs before you then get through to your Dutches, your Mikeys, people like that, Chollers, who can't forget DK, key batting asset as well. Like, we were blessed with a lot of lads who, like, you need more than, particularly at Meadows, you need a big score against us, right? And they'd be tedious times. So you throw a sledge out, but it's to make yourself, like, it's to make a bit of fun for yourself. And if you get a bite off the opponent, like if he comes back at you, then either it's witty, in which case great, and maybe you try and keep going on that basis, or you can tell he's lost his rag, in which case you're going to keep going all the same. But it's either for fun or try and get under their skin, but through something vaguely intelligent, like not through, I don't know, just vaguely original maybe, like not just calling a bloke out for being rubbish or swearing at him, telling him, like, without being funny, stood behind the wicket and desperately praying edges don't come my way off Robbie and Dan. Like, it's easy to slag the batsman off because I'm like, really, I don't want to face them. Like, shit, hell, I'm very grateful to be the bloke who hides at 8, and by the time I have to bat normally, we're down to the left to the orange throwers coming on to fill up the overs. Right, that's fine for me. I can do that potentially. I still might not get very many, but I've got a fighting chance. Like, what's the point of just telling lads they're shit when you know you've got a good bowling attack? It's not funny. It's not original. It's not helping anyone. Like, I enjoy a humorous sledge, absolutely, and I love it. If you can get the opposition to bite, absolutely brilliant. But just crude sledging needs to do one. Particularly, I often find it often comes to players, probably like myself on the side, who aren't there to bat or bowl. But I'm not convinced the rest of them are very self-aware a lot of the time. Like, I'd argue, like, I understand I have no idea of grandeur. I don't think that playing in the same side as Nick scoring 1,000 runs or whatever in a season makes me a great player. I don't think being in the same team as Dan bowling rapid makes me a great cricketer. It just happens that we're sharing the same pitch. It's when you get blokes who think they're the bee's knees because they're in a decent team and start tearing into you. And like, you, my friend, are shit. And not only are you shit, you don't realise you're shit.
Yeah.
Like, there was when we were playing at Shipley the relegation season, and it was another day we were like locked down quite quickly. They'd scored nearly 300. He played, I think. They'd scored about
I fielded the ball once all day.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
I dropped their Safa. It didn't carry, but it nearly carried. A better slip fielder might have got forward to it. I did not. Definitely, Boise, despite telling me he never dropped the ball later that week, got hit in the shin bone and hadn't bounced, ergo dropped it. But like, I went into bat when we were in up shit creek a little bit. They'd got way too many. Like, they knew they'd got to against us. We were down in the road. I can see why they didn't declare, because they weren't that safe from relegation either. So actually, a good winning draw for them was a good enough result. But they just walked out, like, I think it was about an 8, and just got 20 overs of being told I was rubbish. I'm like, well, I think that's very true, lads. But I'm still here, aren't I? Like, I am. I have no dispute.
You bad out for a draw, like your fans out there. You get a big bad out of it.
J-Rose not out 80 odd at the end, maybe 90 at the end. I think I got out with about 2 overs to go, and so DK came by. It's like, it was fine. Like, it was just like, why are you telling me? Like, if I'm so shit, just bowl me out, lads. Like, I agree. Like, we're absolutely.
It's when you get told by someone who's playing exactly the same role as you are in the team.
Yeah. But better than me. I didn't mind that, lads. You're better. Yeah, but it's worse when lads who are doing nothing but think that the BC's doing nothing. And even then, when that's why I had respect for like Mick Over. We didn't get on with that well that year. But again, that was one of the few days I actually contributed a little bit, even though we lost to the Woods. But they were quite respectful about it. They threw a few things out there. But basically, I told them, lads, I'm not very interested. Like, I remember walking out to about that week. Chris couldn't get me in the first team, which is absolutely fine. Like, I enjoy playing the lads, but I've always said if you can get a team of 11 lads who can actually play cricket out, happy days, get them in. Boys, I think, was two's captain and had a bit of had a settled side and was like, can't get you in either. I was like, that. I might be a little bit more pissed about that if paying my fees every week. I've spent 4 or 5 weeks in a row doing nothing in the ones. But anyway, fine, like, not a big issue. And I think I wasn't allowed to play for the thirds because of bizarre league rules that, like, any league where there's a rule that I'm actually too good to play in a team of cricket is a farcical rule, right? That's stupid straight off. So I didn't have a game. So I went out to bat, having, like, somebody obviously must have dropped out, probably Dutch dropped out. I imagine that's nothing that happens, isn't it? And I said, lads, just to be clear, I couldn't even get in our thirds at the start this week. So can we just maybe not bother with the sledging today, right enough? Like, listen, you're waiting. You should, by rights, if you've got us 30 for 6, you should be nicking me off fairly quickly here. So keep your mouth shut. Like, it was all right. I thought they were good lads. And in the end, I hung around, got a few, not many, but like stayed at the end for Rob. They were actually very respectful. Like, oh, well done. Like, I got a handshake for like getting 30. I believe, like, you say handshakes for blokes walking off and they've got 100, right? Not a bloke, but it was a bit of like respect from lads who'd maybe sort of with a bit of chat, but then realised actually it's what cricket should be about. Irrelevant how good or bad, try your hardest. Give them, if you can try and get an advantage from a bit of chat, fine. But just go into like full frontal abuse. Like, what is the point?
Yeah, I mean, I've said some unsavoury things on a cricket pitch, but it's usually in retaliation. I've never deliberately gone out there to say something nasty to somebody. But I've said a few nasty things on a cricket pitch, but I agree with you. Like, the shit sledging, like,
The one that, yeah,
point.
it's if you can pick on a truth. That's the thing that I found, right? So we're playing. It was probably that same relegation season, maybe the start of it, and we actually won the game. We're playing Denby 2s, so whatever time we played Denby 2s recently, there was a bloke who was a sizable chap, batting at 3 of them, I think. Like, he made me look slim, so he's going quite well. And anyway, look, there was a long free on the last ball of an over one. No, it must have been the penultimate ball earlier. There's a long free on, and he's turned it down basically because he just didn't have the stamina to get back to the other end. Like, it wasn't like he would have got run out, even though he was slow. He would have got there. Just didn't want to run. Next ball smashed on the pad in front of ball 3. Off you go, son. So as I jogged past him, he just probably wish you'd taken that third run now, mate, don't you? Like, and it's when you just see if you can. And he lost his shit. Like, he absolutely went for me. Somehow I got a talking to from the umpire. I was like, "What? I don't see what I've done here. I just pointed out the home truth to him that he should have run, and he was too slow to do it." Like, but you tell that's when you know you're in with a bit of chat. When you get them and they go, "Hey, it's because it's true." So I don't think there's anything wrong with that being like, I haven't told him he's fat because I'm not in a position to do that. I haven't told him he's slow. I haven't laughed at him. Just pointed out to him if he'd taken his third, he'd have been at the other end and obviously knocked it out. And you know you've got a player when you can be. And it's not that wasn't that witty, it wasn't that clever, but it also wasn't just oh, you're shit as he got out. And therefore you get a reaction, and that's surely what the point of sledging is to get a reaction, not just to kind of appease yourself, really.
Yeah. I think one of the worst ones I've done on the cricket pitch is I learned just before the games, I overheard him on the phone to someone that his wife had left him that week. So
you're on full-on Panther territory.
So I was keeping up the stumps, and he was batting, and for some reason he just kept abusing one of the juniors.
Yeah.
And so I just turned around and asked him how his wife was, and he went mental. He went absolutely mental. He absolutely separated from me whilst I was in like tears of laughter.
Yeah. But actually, like, if he started going at a kid, that's one of the worst things I've seen that before. A picture where adults have gone at juniors. And like, obviously, there's occasionally you might not realise they're a junior. Like, you get some kids who look old, but even so, if you say anything, it's kind of I don't necessarily mind going at a junior necessarily. Like, I wouldn't go like, particularly if you're playing vaguely up the leagues, right? I don't know. I'm not sure where the cut-off point would be.
My ruling on juniors is if they start giving it out, you're allowed to give it back to them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of that where juniors are just sometimes silly and don't know what they're saying, but like, I think if you're being, again, I wouldn't go at a kid and tell them they're rubbish. You wouldn't go at a kid and question their technique. But I don't know, I don't know if by the rules of the league there's something wrong with maybe reminding the junior that the scoreboard, like the run rate's going up. Like, it's not even sledging, it's just stating a fact. For me, that kind of thing, where you're just like, you're at this level of that. I probably feel like it matters at the moment. I'd say that in the first team. I wouldn't say it in the second team. And I'd probably the line at which maybe you ought to not bother is maybe somewhere between those two leagues. I don't know, but like, that's probably okay. But I think no matter who you are, adult or kid or whatever, just that's when going at somebody on a personal, vindictive manner isn't on you. When you hear players, even like from you hear ex-international players, they all say the same. Like, there's no place in the game for abuse. Yeah, for some reason at club cricket, I think because we probably all hear like the classic lines from test matches, so which I don't understand how some of these are so funny. Like, everyone thinks Flintoff mind the windows Tino, it's hilarious. I just don't see how that. I mean, maybe if you're in the moment, depending on like probably what the 2-3 of the slips, the short leg and the batsman who heard it all the way, maybe there's a bit more to it, and that's why it's funny. But as like a great story to be retold, I don't get it. Like Daryl Cullinan coming back to Shane Warne Warne going back to Cullinan about biscuits and his wife and such and that. Like, you can see how that's funny at any stage.
Yeah.
But like, it's very different. I think that so that's me. Like, these things that you get the idea from these things that are said and you hear about from the international game, and often a lot of them do involve a swear. Right? It's very rarely like, it's normally like, oh, when I shag your wife, I get a Kim biscuit, right? That's not. But club cricket seem to take that to mean that you swear at somebody, and there's a difference to swearing when talking and swearing at somebody. So I said, I'm having an effing great time talking to you, Mugs. That is not the same as me calling you an effing whatever, right? Both involve swearing, but they're not the same thing. Like, I think club players particularly seem to get that wrong quite a lot and think that I just swear a lot and get angry and that makes it okay. And for me, it definitely doesn't. At whatever level you're at, like, there's no place for it. At the end of the day, we're all just pretty much everybody on, other than the paid players issue, pretty much everyone on the pitch is just having paid their £100 a year, their £10 a match, having been at work five days that week, and it's a bit. So you can see how it's maybe the odd thing is said. Like, I kind of don't mind a send-off so much, even though I think they're a bit pointless. But if it's just one flashpoint of anger, that's probably a little bit different, in my opinion, to like continual aggression, which I don't think is quite right. Even though I love to chat as much as the next person, it's just like do it the right way and the right amount, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I've been on to the end of some terrible legend.
What's the worst?
It's when you walk out to bat, like, I mean, I batted like 10, 11 a few times, and they come out and tell you a few things, and you're like, well, if it wasn't any good at batting, I'd be batting in the top half, like.
Exactly. I'm well aware. The best I've heard, right, was this is back when I was 13 or 14, I can't remember, young lad playing at Meadows. And I was in the seconds, but it was like I'd gone from the fourths to the seconds, having got no runs. It was just a classic case of like every team was a couple short, so you spread out the young lads across the bottom three teams. I was not in the, well aware I wasn't in the seconds, having then looked at me and gone, oh, I see you've averaged 3.6 in the last month. You must be worth a go at number 10 in the twos, right? So I've walked out to bat, whatever. We're playing Stainsby Hall when they were having their like restart, having been at the top, spent all the money, gone to shit. They're maybe just, I think the twos were in Division 4 maybe at that point, something like that.
Yeah.
And Stainsby just climbed to a point where they'd gotten overseas again. They got this quick Kiwi bloke, or certainly looked quick enough to me as a 14-year-old. And Beardy, who I mentioned already, came out. I think I'd gone in on the last ball of an over, so I hadn't faced. I was on the striker's end. Fortunately, on the striker's end, at the end where the quick boat was bowling from. Beardy walked out to that. After who I was batting with, got out, 2 balls into the over. They're chipping away. So he's turning around and going, right, lads, do not waste your time sledging me. I am shit. Like, I've got a lot of time for that. Just tell me how it is. I'm shit. Don't sledge me. I think he smoked the slits first ball, actually, from memory from Beardy, but which made me question the shitness. But, like, you're right. We're all like, there's no point when we're coming down the order. We know we're not very good. We know we're like,
yeah, we're not all Nick Mann. We're not.
Yeah, he's bang average, and he's a bully. He's a bully. Comes over here and plays cricket all year round. Of course, he's gonna be all right. He should be scoring more runs the amount he plays. Like, he practices. Don't really. How he doesn't hit more sixes? How he thinks it's acceptable to face so many dot balls? That man can't be dealing with it.
Yeah, he waits half the time. So he's actually.
He does.
Got a run off it. He had 2,000 runs last year.
Precisely. What I've always said in cricket, the leave shot. The best possible outcome is you don't achieve anything, and then every now and again you get bowled out, leave it. Like, and how many leaves do you play? Just imagine if you played a little dab for one, even a dab, not even a big shot, little dab for one instead, double the runs, easy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I coach in England.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to your questions that have been asked on Instagram for you.
Oh, asked on Instagram. Oh, exciting. Yeah.
I've got to ask a question at first. I've used this picture, and I thought it was you, and apparently it's not. But is that you?
I can't see it. This could be embarrassing. Like, might have to edit this out. Are we live? Like, so this can't get it out, can it? No.
No.
Don't you embarrass me, Emeralds. Is
that you?
That does look like me, yeah. Yeah, that's me. Sorry, I've just seen a picture in better focus now. That looks like, I don't know, maybe, was that, do I look about 15? That's probably under 15 trophy, or?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. I found him on Play Cricket.
Yeah, that would be back in the day, yeah. Who's found that?
I found that, yeah. They're all saved on the internet somewhere.
It's not you asking on Instagram, it's just somebody else, you've asked that yourself, or who's
that? No, we've got genuine questions, what people have been asked.
Wow. Oh, wow, I can't wait.
So, first question from Nobby. We've got quite a few from Nobby.
Great.
What's it like being king of your own castle?
Oh, I mean, as I've said, like, at the moment, I can't remember if this was on the broadcast bit of the preamble, at the moment it's perfect. Like, obviously I'm not king of my own castle, let's be clear, it's a small flat, castle, but it's quite cool. So at the moment it's bliss. First little bit of living here was a bit spooky. Because I moved in over the summer holidays back 5 years ago. So it was pretty much just me in the place. So like all the little creaks and that kind of thing used to do my head in a bit. But now it's very good. it's weird. Like, it feels very normal. I think it'd be weird even just living within my workplace. Like, probably would feel odd. The fact that it happens to be like whatever we are, a 15th century manor house castle is obviously a bit quirky. Like my flat, looking around, you wouldn't know. It's got high ceilings. It's probably anything that if you like saw it, you'd be like, oh, that's a bit different, just because obviously the stuff. But yeah, it's cool. It's nice, and so very lucky to have essentially the whole grounds of the place. Once I'm off the yard, I'm probably going to hit some golf balls around, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's all right. It will be sad to move, to leave when I plan on leaving. Hopefully, assuming the whole coronavirus settles down and the house purchase goes through, I'll probably be out of here in the next couple of months. So that'll be a bit heavy heart, but it's been a lovely place to live. But yeah, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Bit of something quirky.
Okay. Second question. You've had a similar question from Nobby and Chollas. What's your favourite alcoholic beverage? What's your favourite post-match drink?
Yeah, so post-match is definitely easier to answer. Like, if you went to alcoholic beverage, it's more contenders. Post-match would be a decent ale, ideally. Like, sometimes it's really hot. You might have a lager first, but that's just like a refreshing lager. And then on to ale. Like, it's one of my few gripes. Nobby, like, I will criticise Nobby gladly about many things. Running the bar at Meadows isn't one of them. He's done a good job down there. But obviously, and I get it, it's just we're not in a position to have like proper ale on draft. That's understandable, because obviously it's live, it goes off. But it'd be, for me personally, if I could go and have a nice pint of what's local to you boys, something like one of the Thornbridge Brewery ones from Bakewell, something like that after the game, or Oakham over the Oakham beers, they're really good. If I could have one of those as I walk in after another stunning, like, I don't know, didn't maybe pad it up but didn't quite go out there. Captain gave me a one, having that difficult partnership at 6 down, and the captain gave me a nod, I might need you to bowl, and then someone else gets the wicket so I don't have to. And in the field, I managed to not touch it once. If I could have a nice pint of real ale waiting for me, that'd be perfected. I feel walking down that bank a couple of times, I'd be deserving it too, I reckon.
Are you a big real ale fan then?
Yeah, it'd be my drink of choice. Like, if I'm having a beer, I would very, very rarely go for lager. Like, it would be, if I'm having a beer, I'll have ale. I like my wine, like a bit. I enjoy red wine. Like, I don't know that much about it. Like, a colleague of mine runs a wine shop as well as being a history teacher. So I know a little bit from talking to him, but like a very, very little bit. Like, I think it's into wine for those ones that makes me laugh. Like, some people get really serious. Oh, you've got to know this. You've got to know, like, even the bloke who runs a wine shop. Like, you haven't got to know anything about it. What you've got to know is what you like, and even that's not essential. Like, if you don't know what you like and you just trying things, that's great. But like, I think some people think wine's a really snobby thing. For me, it's really not. Like, if you compare the price of beer to wine, like, all right, a wine bottle might, because if I'm going to buy a bottle of wine, I'll probably spend, like, because I've now got a mate who runs a shop and therefore he'll sell it me at a very good price, I'll spend like a tenner on a bottle. To be fair, it'd probably be a lot more than that in a supermarket. That's the only thing. That'd be like my top wine tip for anybody. If you're going to buy it and you want to buy something decent, you're wasting time going to the supermarket. If you spend £20 in the supermarket, you're buying a £7 bottle of wine probably. Certainly in restaurants, are even worse. But like, you buy a bottle. Let's say I bought a bottle for a tenner from him. Versus if you go to like even to the supermarket and buy a bottle of ale, it's probably £1.50, £1.60, whatever. £2 on some of like the craft ones are costing you £2 to £3 for the bottle. So if you look at like how many drinks I'm getting out of my wine bottle for a tenner, I'm probably actually it's probably fairly similar. So I like my wine, don't mind the gin. Like, I'm fairly loose with it. Like, people say
favorite sort of wine.
It would definitely be red. Like, if you want me to go more, like, I still, it's a great variety, a bit harder. Like, I enjoy a Chianti, but there's so many greats out there that are good. I quite enjoy trying wine from slightly odd places. Like, I've got Greek wine in at the moment. I've had wine from the Lebanon, places like that. Like, it's just a bit interesting rather than necessarily thinking they're all going to be great.
You'll have to get Nick to bring one of Jared's over.
Yeah. Well, Jared said that. So obviously, like last year, me, Jared, and Nick did like a European road trip where we went and drove around for a week, and we did a bit of wine tasting in France whilst we were there. And Jared was like, he was a bit sorry. Like, obviously, he didn't know me before he came over. He was like, I should have brought in a bottle, but obviously, like, we didn't know how things were going to pan out. It would have been lovely to have a bottle of that. Don't know if it's any good or not, but certainly give it a bash. Nick was drinking that, wasn't he, on his But yeah, if we'd been late in the day, I'd have got a bottle of red out, but I thought a lunchtime beer was acceptable. A lunchtime bottle of red's probably not, is it?
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. I think he went through the whole bottle during that interview.
Yeah. No, that's good. So yeah. If I had to drink only one thing after a match, it'd definitely be ale. Like in terms of favourite alcoholic drink, it's like depends on the mood really. Depends where you're at.
Nobby also asked any tips on turning the ball square.
Yeah. For me, you've got two options or three options. I've worked on this. So you can either ball leggies, they just always turn, right? Unless you're Gadsby. I don't know how he doesn't turn the ball as a leggy, but whatever. They generally rag. You can plant stones in the pitch. Like Nobby's part-time groundsman these days, right? So he just goes and puts a few stones down. Or the other one I've worked on is throwing it. That helps a lot too. So if you just jerk it, throwing the ball, it's very easy to turn it down.
And they say double jointed, like Muller Rifrin did.
Yeah. Like, I tried to work on a deuce for this. Like I have a lot of time around sports kit, right? So I thought like this deuce wouldn't look that hard, so I'll give it a bash. Sitting on my sofa, I can lob the ball out quite well. In the nets, it's impossible. Like, and so I asked Tubes, he's like, yeah, you just have to throw it. Like there's no, he reckons he played. So Sackley Mushtaq, people reckon, kind of like invented the deuce throw. And Saki played at Surrey, so Tubes, that's where most of his career was at. So he put a lot of time. He was like, yeah, Saki threw his Doosra. Like he was very open about it. Like,
I'm sure the English translation of Doosra is chuck. I think that's what it is.
I don't know. Like it's certainly like I think a lot of there's a lot of people have been banned from bowling their Doosra. They're when they get done for suspect.
It always seems to be the Doosra. It never seems to be their normal ball. It's the Doosra what gets.
Yeah. So like that's the rationale. So that's apparently what Saki said, or slightly paraphrasing conversations, but because obviously Saki then did go on to have a big international career, might not like his name dragged through the dirt if he's watching this, which I'm sure is very popular amongst the Pakistani cricket community in this particular chat. But like, yeah, basically the theory here, a lot of people.
18% of people who watch these videos are not from the UK or Australia. So we have got an international following. So people out there somewhere are watching these.
Yeah. Well, you've got to hope. That's the theory of the Doosra. That's class, right? So yeah, the Doosra, for all these international viewers, what I'm told for the Doosra is you have to throw it unless you like got weird joints. So the trick is then to only bowl it infrequently enough that you don't get called for it. Yep. So if you just bowl it occasionally, like which umpire is watching for a throw realistically? Like they're not, are they? So unless you run in and launch it, obviously it's a subtle throw. It's not like a full on. Yeah, but throw it, Nobby. I mean, also Nobby. Let's be honest. The other thing you could do is just stick to being behind the bar and not play, and then we won't have any of these issues.
Yeah. Unless the fielding team pipes up and goes, "Oh, he's chucking it," then
yeah, not gonna happen, is it?
Especially down in like Division 6 where you umpire your own games, and you go, "No, it's not."
Oh, well, it may be, but there's always a batters at umpire, isn't it? So you might have a bit better chance of being called there. There was that lad at we spoke already. And Mikolaver apparently chucked it. Like I don't know, he's quick. I'll definitely grant him that he was quick, but I've got no idea. Like it was all going too quick. I don't know how you call that without all of technology. Like it did look a bit funky in action, but you see some strange actions that are perfectly fine, don't you? So yeah.
Michael Cooper asks, "What is your favourite shower gel and why?"
Oh, it's got to be. Like it's got to be something. I'm kind of changing. I used to be a big fan of like the lime or the citrusy stuff, maybe like original source limes like that. I do quite like the kind of sea salt and mint options these days, not the ones that are too minty like these. Like as we all know, if they're too minty, they tingle, don't they? And I'm not sure how much I like that. But then like, yeah, I'm in the post-match shower club, but not necessarily to the same extent as you and Coops are. Like I wouldn't do, like for me, a shower's a necessary function. I don't see how you boys manage to drive back from away games to shower at Meadows, or how Nick goes back for a second shower with you. That, like for me, that's mental. I know you can have your beer in the shower, but that's wasting good, like sitting at the bar time, in my opinion. But yeah, no, got to be decent, like crap shower jelly. And these Lynx ones, what's the like that smell of? I don't know what they're meant to smell of. Like, nah, not having that. Not having that. You've got to have something that's like a bit natural.
It's like called like Lynx Africa. Like
what is the smell?
What makes it Africa?
Yeah.
It smells like the River Nile.
Yeah, that might be what they're after. I don't know. So yeah, they'd be. I think it's probably the sea salt or mint these days. I reckon they're quite nice, but not too minty. You don't want it to tingle balls. Yeah.
And we've got a couple of questions from Chollas. Best game you played for Meadows and best individual performance.
For Meadows. Is he asking me like of my best individual performance?
Yeah. So your best individual performance?
Well, at Meadows, it'd probably be like carrying the drinks quite well that time. My best stuff for Meadows has been the relegation year when I bowled and got free for something at where we were at Walton. And what I couldn't get right, I only bowled because Nick had got done for Beamers, and we didn't have any other spinner on the side. I mean, not that I really count as a spinner, but so I'd come on and finish Nick's over when he got done for Beamers and got spanked for like 12 and 3 balls or something. Then we were well behind the over rate, so Chris was like, we had 2 overs to make it from one end. And it was me or Jamie Kelly. He's like, you just need to do it so we get through the over hopefully quickly. Or even if you get hit and we lose the ball, we can probably get some time back and like for losing the ball then. Bowled 2 overs, and for some reason they didn't. I don't know if they thought sometimes you get confused, like, do they assume I've got a plan? Like, and they think I might turn it, something like that. So they just kept like knocking me at 4 and over. So Chris was like, we'll just keep going. And then I got a wicket. And like, so before I knew it, I bowled like, I think 8 overs at the death, 3 for maybe about 35, 40. When we went for about 290 that day. Like, how they, like, no, it was beyond me. Only the bloke, I got a wicket in my last over. And the bloke who came in then twatted me into the field. I'm like, that, honestly, good. Why is no one else?
Better than being hit into the river.
Yeah. Like, why has no one else put me in the field yet? Like, I've bowled you the same ball. Like, all I've done is lob up grenades or drag downs, and they just kept, like, occasionally they'd punch a drag down out to Mikey on the boundary. And other than that, he just kept, like, knocking me around. I'm like, what are you doing, lads? This is terrible, terrible bowling. It's not my best bowling for as of late. Best batting. I mean, I don't know when that's got 50 balls. Like, for someone who's allegedly a batter. Like, last time I got a 50 would be in the old Sunday League. I've not played in that for quite a few years. I had a few, like, when the team's gone to shit, I seem to have gone, like, even though the chatters are pitch wax it, like, my batting of late for us has been much more about blocking out. When things have gone to crap, I've given them batted time. And normally not, because I think it's because in those situations it's been easy for me because we've been in absolutely up shit creek. So you've got no pretense about playing shots. It's just about survival. And therefore you get away, whereas maybe the better batsmen have come out and tried to bat proper, like bat a normal innings, and therefore they'll nick off playing a drive, whereas I'll just block it anyway, edge it, it's quite soft hands. Like, my best every day, I got a century once. This was my last game in Scotland, which was like written in the stars in the end, right? So last game up there, everyone knew it was going to be my last game because I was moving back down south. Got 4 for bowling, still bowling filth back there, managed to burgle 4 wickets, like the Hamburg was out. We used to play 45 over the side, like no draws, and actually, but you obviously didn't declare. So they got 320 odd, and some of their captain, who I thought had out LBW on about 10, but their umpire's not giving it. At T, like, we've got too many, you'll never chase those, and probably like thinking, yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. Like, we're not chasing 320. I was in at 3. The opener nicked off in the first over, and then like we smashed him. I got 160 odd not out. We knocked him off in 40 overs. Thanks for coming. Like, just to see. Like, it's just one of those days I thought, fuck this. Like, it's my last game up here. I might as well go out swinging. I just remember this bloke, he thought he was quick, tried to bounce me twice. So he must have nicked off the opener second ball. 2 balls in the zone to me, he dropped halfway down. And like, I'm not sure back foot play, but he wasn't very quick. So they got like hooked through mid on, basically. And I was just away, and like everything just fell in the slot. So that's been, I don't think I'll ever, like, most people probably seen this have seen me play. I'm not a very good cricketer, but like just that day, the ball kept landing in. They did a lot of bowling into the hockey arc and that kind of thing. I still insist, even though I'm crap, there's one area that if you pitch a ball, if you pitch it there, I will always hit it minus, because it's where a hockey ball goes from. So like, I can do that. If you bowl a line of length, I'll miss it all day. Like, and certainly if you bowl leg spin or left arm at me, I have absolutely no fucking chance. Like, I can't play those to save my life. So that'd be our best individual score. And was it the best game for Meadows? Was that the other question?
Yeah.
We've kind of been there, haven't we, really? Like, junior stuff was very good. Of late, as I said, probably like, let's go to seniors though. Like, it has to be like that Ashover game is probably it. Like, I'd have loved to have played some of the really tight stuff at the end of the season, but I was never there. So the Ashover day, I can't think, there've been a couple of other close ones, but can't remember any of the days we've really chasing the wicket and got it. There was that one day versus Duffield in the ones where we're chasing the wicket and didn't quite get it late on. So Ashover is probably the only time we've got it. Like, the win at Nutbrook in the relegation season was very good too. Like, that we're chasing quite a good score, 230, 240, and I think Nico got 100. Brookie didn't get many, but like got us to a solid start.
Yeah.
Dutch got like having probably been a bit behind the rate because we just dug in and made sure we were all right. Dutch then got a good quick like 40 or so. I remember we were like 3 or 4 runs short from winning, and we just had an absolute deck of cards job from being. Unfortunately, we were only maybe 3 down and we lost over 3 or something like that. But just a mad scramble even I was throwing pads. I just got to it's like everyone ran into throw pads on who was left. Because I think it might have been like Jamie Kelly was due, but he was still in his flip flops and shorts or something, so nobody was vaguely ready to go. And then eventually, so that's probably the other one that we've got a win on recently that's been good. Just again, like, I like a tight game. Obviously, you want to win leagues, you want to win matches, but I'd always say like the point of amateur sport is you want competition. So I probably overall would rather lose a close game than win a one-sided game. Like, so you ask which one. Obviously, in a season, you're happy to win a few one-sided, of course you are. But if all you do is just trounce people week on week on week, particularly in cricket where it is hard to get in the game. Like, so you look at blokes far better than me who've even played in the first team. So someone like a Dutch who in some seasons just wouldn't have, or unfortunately he's a good fielder, but like wouldn't have had much to do with it. There'll be days Mikey won't have contributed anything because the bowlers do the job and we chase an 80 and we knock him off 1 down. And like, it's a better sport when it's close. Obviously, ideally, you win the close games, but like we've not been pushed that much in recent years.
Okay, and final question of the day, we've got from Charles again. What is your most memorable pissed up moment at Meadows?
Most memorable pissed up moment at Meadows. Oh man, like the 27 points chat's up there. Like, that was good fun. I can't think of anything that recent. I mean, that's wrong. You've had a few beers, you don't remember so much, do you? So racing around trying to find the 27. Chalmers might know better than me. I wonder if he's thinking of something when he asks the question. Yeah, it would be like, because bear in mind I've missed the big end of season parties and that too, so I've not been at, like, as we said, so probably the night of it's no great shock. It ties in, I guess, to the games, doesn't it? So the night of that big 27 points chat was probably of actually winning, therefore just racing around being an absolute loon was probably right there. The Curry night last year was good fun too. The Matt Ferry speech, I enjoyed that. That was class.
Matt Ferry.
Matt Ferry. And that is where peer pressure and bullying has a place in society. Because Ferry was not going to give that speech, and we just bullied him into it. So, but people say bullying's bad. Obviously, in my day job, I say bullying's bad, but at times, it's needed.
I'm glad. I think Okra were very glad that day that it was empty and then it was only us.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, people don't realise, you make it, like, for me, it was, you're looking at it, it's like, no, I backed it even under a few beers. I made an assessment of the fact it was empty, and therefore you can behave how you like, can't you, when there are places like that. It's fine. We put enough money over the bar to keep them happy, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's all the questions we've got.
That's us, the dogs. That's been good fun, to be fair, mate. Pass the time. Obviously, at least not.
You've enjoyed that.
Yeah, Nobby and Charles have had an afternoon, as has Cooks, so I'm glad they watched it. To our worldwide audience, thank you very much. I've been learning lockdown, so that's the way you go.
I have actually got the stats here of our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It tells me exactly where people have been viewing it.
Keep it quick, more. It's going to need a piss again, mate, so get a move on.
So, 15.7% have been outside of UK and Australia.
Oh, very good, very good.
So we have got...
that's probably one person, Morgs, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like, what's 15%? 1 out of 8 or something?
That's quite a few.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, we've had many views.
Fair.
1,400 views we've had.
1,400. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, very good. Well, I'm now moving towards the bathroom whilst we finish this call.
We'll let you go before we get the.
Make sure you finish
before the video is not allowed on YouTube. But it's been great chatting with you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Mo. It's good fun. You're doing a good thing here, mate. Keeping people happy. So good luck.
Yeah. Hope the house move goes up all right, and hopefully we might get to see you sometime this year. Hopefully,
mate. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back in a nice number 9 DMP before you know it. Yeah, looking forward to it.
See you soon.